wants to draw the war out to make it as long and costly as possible for America. I'm Maria Kina with the story.
I'm Debbie Monterrey, along with Tom Ackerman.
The reaction to a St. Louis native's Pentagon AI deal. I'm Michael Calhoun with the latest.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zaire. We're going to dry out today, but it's going to stay rather cloudy and chilly, high 46.
Why did the Cardinals decide to extend Ollie Marmol this time? Chaim Bloom joined me yesterday to talk about it. We'll have that in sports at 6:15.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood, the voice of St. Louis.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by JTV.com.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Explosions over Jerusalem as the nation's Iron Dome system targets incoming missiles on the third day of war with Iran. Israel and Lebanon have been trading strikes for the first time in a year. U.S. officials say Kuwait accidentally shot down 3 American fighter jets. All crew members are safe. The BBC's Barbara Plett-Usher is in Qatar.
We heard explosions in Doha this morning. There have also been explosions in Dubai and Kuwait. There's some reporting that the U.S. Embassy in Kuwait has been hit, although the embassy has not confirmed that. It did send out a warning or an alert to its citizens telling them to stay away from the building because of hostile drone fire.
President Trump says the deaths of 3 U.S. service members will not likely be the last. He says he expects the war with Iran to last 4 to 5 weeks.
These actions are right and they are necessary to ensure that Americans will never have to face a radical, bloodthirsty terrorist regime armed with nuclear weapons and lots of threats.
Thousands of people in Los Angeles' Iranian community celebrated the death of the Ayatollah outside the federal building in Westwood. Congress won't be briefed on the U.S. strikes on Iran until tomorrow. Democrat Chris Murphy on CBS's Face the Nation.
This is a disaster. It is illegal. And the president is obligated under the Constitution to come to Congress and ask for an authorization of military force.
The war is having an impact on markets around the world.
I'm Vicki Barker at the Foreign Desk in London. Asian and European stocks are down as much as 2%, with shares in airlines especially hard hit. Shares in many defense firms, though, are up. Also up, way up, oil and gas prices. European natural gas prices have soared more than 20%, and world crude futures have surged around 8% on fears of further disruption to Middle East energy supplies.
The FBI is investigating the possibility of terrorism after a U.S. citizen from Senegal shot and killed 2 people at a bar in Austin, Texas. CBS's Anna Schechter.
When investigators were executing a search warrant, CBS News has learned that they found photos of Iranian regime leaders and an Iranian flag.
Police killed the suspect. The Supreme Court hears arguments today on whether people who use drugs can own guns. Legal contributor Jessica Levinson.
The government here is saying that there are historic analogs that support disarming habitual substance users, even if they aren't impaired at the time they are found to be in a possession of a gun.
Dow futures are down 448. This is CBS News.
Looking for spring jewelry looks? Find them at Jewelry Television. New customers get $20 off purchases of $99 or more at JTV.com.
It is 6:03. We have cloudy skies. It's 35 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Lawmakers in D.C. are sharply divided over the strikes on Iran, with some saying only Congress has the power to declare war.
A professor who left Tehran back in the 70s when he was a teenager could not return to his country after the revolution in 1979 and is now very worried about the future of Iran.
University of South Florida politics professor Moshe Milani says there are many unanswered questions now that Iran's supreme leader has been killed.
Not only we have a crisis in terms of Iran's military confrontation with 2 great powers, there is also internal turmoil as the country has to decide who is going to replace Ayatollah Khamenei. Moreover, there are a number of people who operate outside the governing elite in Iran, some of them inside the country and some outside of the country, who now has seen the opportunity to try to shape the future of the Islamic Republic.
Milani tells CNN, you have the policy or strategy of Iran, who wants to make this war as costly as possible for the United States. Maria Kina, KMOX News.
The B-2 stealth bomber, armed with 2,000 bombs, hit Iran's ballistic missile facilities. But this is not the first time the bomber out of Whiteman Air Force Base struck Iranian targets. They hit Iranian nuclear facilities as part of Midnight Hammer last June. At the initial massive wave of American and Israeli strikes, after that this weekend, Iran began retaliating against U.S. bases in the Middle East, targeting naval support activity at Bahrain, Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar, and Ali Al Salam Air Base in Kuwait.
St. Louis native Sam Altman may have won a Pentagon contract this weekend, but he also handed his biggest competitor a boost. Here's KMOX's Michael Calhoun.
OpenAI CEO Sam Altman, who graduated from Burroughs, swooped in and signed a Pentagon contract just hours after the Trump administration blacklisted rival AI company Anthropic. The move did not sit well on social media. A viral post calling on users to cancel ChatGPT made by OpenAI racked up 30,000 upvotes on Reddit over the weekend. A movement called Quit GPT has now surged to more than 36 million views on X.
A popular Soulard bar and restaurant is lamenting yet another smash-in. Hammerstones at 9th and Russell was hit early Saturday morning. The suspect or suspects didn't steal anything, but they did leave a bill to pay, breaking windows and damaging the front door. The bar's owner says they've been hit 6 times. On social media, he called for city officials to start taking action to protect businesses and the community.
Franklin County residents gathered for a town hall Sunday to hear about the harmful impacts of data centers. Experts on water usage, utility strain, and avenues for legal recourse were talked about in the meeting. This comes on the heels of weeks of heated discussion and opposition from hundreds of Franklin County residents on 2 proposed data sites in southeastern Franklin County.
These sites, now rural farmland, are seeking rezoning and then sale to large developers wanting to install 2 data center complexes around the city of Pacific and Gray Summit. One proposed site, Diamond Farms, shares a boundary with the Missouri Botanical Gardens Shaw Nature Reserve.
The Special School District's Governing Council meets tonight in Town and Country with a federal civil rights investigation hanging over the agenda. The council, made up of 1 member from each of St. Louis County's 22 school districts, will review the district's finances and elect new board members.
The meeting comes 1 week after the Justice Department found SSD's widespread use of seclusion and restraint on disabled students violated federal disability law. The meeting starts at 7 and is open to the public.
From the KMOX business desk, Glenn Carbon planning a new multi-billion-dollar entertainment and retail development using a new sales tax incentive from the state. The Glenn Carbon Board of Trustees last week approved the district's boundaries, more than 1,500 acres by the 270-255 interchange, which requires state approval.
According to the Business Journal, the project could include retail, hotels, athletic facilities, upscale apartments, commercial development, and even waterfront recreation and a concert venue. One major goal of the project is keeping Metro East residents shopping in Illinois instead of crossing the river into Missouri.
It is 6:08. We're going to take a look at the weather and also the traffic. Stay with us here on Total Information AM.
There are many reasons to hire Morgan & Morgan for your injury case. Here's reason 17. In today's new world, many law firms have had money injected into their firms by Wall Street, private equity, and other lenders. This money usually comes in at very, very high interest rates. It's one of the reasons you see so many lawyers advertising. I'm John Morgan. This money is expensive and the interest compounds quickly. These law firms can have a huge need for cash just to pay that debt. Why does it matter to you? My fear is your case is settled early and for far less than it's worth, just to service the loan that has mafia-like rates. Our financial strength is your advantage. That plus our reputation makes our firm your firm. Visit forthepeople.com to see our results and verdicts. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line. But my throat has officially thrown in the towel.
Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That fun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It's time for Roger Brand at 610, Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's been an easygoing morning out there so far this morning, Tom. We do have one report of a crash. I still can't see it, but they did say it was a vehicle off the roadway. A westbound 255 between Coke Road and Telegraph, a car off into the ditch. Doesn't surprise me. Roads are wet. You need to, slow it down a little bit when the conditions aren't optimal. But again, we haven't had anything. I know we had a mix of snow and sleet during the overnight hours periodically, but nothing should have really stuck to roadways because temperatures, I believe, are still above freezing. I do see a little bit of a delay at the end of the ramp from 55 getting on to North 270 just at the merge on there. But like I said, this traffic crash was reported back between Coke Road and Telegraph. Otherwise, we look great. No other delays on the highways, even in the construction zones. Things look good for you so far. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
The last of the rain south of the city moves away early. Will stay rather cloudy and chilly, though, today with a high of 46. And a bit of rain comes back into the area late tonight. Otherwise, it'll be cloudy and not as cold with a low near 40. We'll have occasional rain and a thunderstorm tomorrow and Wednesday. Cloudy and warmer, though, with a high of 62 both days. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zaire on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now, it is cloudy and 35 degrees officially, although I do see a little bit of drizzle right now in downtown St. Louis.
It's 6:12. The city of St. Charles is launching a new interactive map to provide context for multi-million-dollar infrastructure work. Once you check this out, you'll want your municipality to get one too. Beyond tracking, for instance, lane closures, the GIS tool explains the purpose behind individual projects, such as the Riverside sewer relief.
Director of Engineering Dan Mann says the goal is to address questions people didn't know how to ask.
Folks want to know what these projects are about. So yeah, there's the day-to-day, how is this going to impact me today? But why are you doing the project? Who do I contact if I have an issue? Those sort of things.
Residents can access the map on the city's website to view project status from initial design to active construction, along with projected completion dates.
Missouri's new Verified Dispensary Initiative uses a checkmark seal to distinguish marijuana shops from unlicensed hemp retailers, many of which sell products chemically altered to mimic marijuana. Health officials say part of the point is giving consumers confidence in what they're actually buying and how it was made.
Michael Calhoun spoke with Amy Moore, who directs cannabis regulation for Missouri.
Can you dive into some of those to give people some peace of mind if they're wondering, and maybe talk a little bit about the seed to sale tracking and some of the other things that give consumers that confidence?
Absolutely. So our licensed dispensaries and all of the facilities that we regulate, from cultivation all the way to that retail store counter, the product is tracked so that we know that what ends up in front of the patient or the consumer is a product that was made from a safely grown, safely processed original cannabis plant.
Moore says Missouri's licensed dispensaries will display the verified checkmark decal so consumers can identify them at a glance.
The Cardinals are giving a show of faith to their on-field leader.
Cardinals manager Oliver Marmol is sticking around for a while, agreeing to a contract extension through the 2028 season with a club option for 2029. Cardinals chairman Bill DeWitt Jr. says this was the right time to give him an extension going into what was the final year of his previous contract.
Wanted to make sure that everyone knew Ollie's our guy long term, and I think it's very helpful rather than somebody on the end of their term. And frankly, we want to lock him up too.
As the club rebuilds with a young roster, Marmol says he's the right man for the job.
I feel like I'm built exactly for this moment in Cardinal history, to be quite honest with you. I feel like our staff is. When you go up and down this group, they're passionate about development, and a lot of us came up through the system doing exactly that.
Marmol is now the third longest tenured manager in the National League, behind the Dodgers' Dave Roberts and the Diamondbacks' Torey Lovello. In Jupiter, Florida, at Cardinal Spring Training, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
We'll hear from Cardinals President of Baseball Operations, Chaim Bloom, at 6:22 as to why they're doing this now and his alignment with Ollie Marmol. In the meantime, let's get some national news.
AP Sports, I'm Gethin Coolbaugh. Tyler Reddick became the first driver in NASCAR Cup Series history to win the first 3 races of the season with a victory at the Circuit of Americas for Michael Jordan-owned 2311 Racing.
That's pretty crazy. Just trying to soak it all in, honestly.
NBA, the Knicks snapped the Spurs' 11-game winning streak, 114-89. College basketball, women's number 1 UConn capped a perfect 31-0 regular season with an 85-49 win over St. John's. USC says second leading scorer Chad Baker-Mazara is no longer part of its men's hoops program while providing no explanation. In golf, Nico Echeverria won the Cognizant Classic after a final round 66 and a meltdown by Shane Lowry at PGA National. And NHL, the Los Angeles Kings fired coach Jim Hiller after losing 5 of their past 6 games. Gethin Coolbaugh, AP Sports.
The Blues won 3-1 over the Minnesota Wild, their first road win in a long time. That snapped a 10-game winless skid on the road. Now, let's go on the road to soccer. Here's Jen Cease.
St. Louis City SC dropped their first road match of the season, falling 2-0 at San Diego FC. The home team struck early in the 3rd minute and added another in the 54th, but goalkeeper Rowan Berkey kept City in it with at least 4 big saves to keep the game from getting out of hand. City created chances, pushed forward, and never stopped building with efforts from subs like Cedric Teuchert, something head coach Johan DeMay pointed out after the game.
I thought we stayed brave all the way long, and we kept relying on our principles, and for me that's a positive step forward.
DeMay admitted the group may have shown San Diego a little too much respect early, but liked the collective response. Even without key players like Edward Lubin and Marcel Hartl, City kept pressing and competing in a tough environment. They'll look to turn that fight into points on Saturday, hosting the Seattle Sounders. With the City Spotlight, I'm Jen Cease, KMOX Sports.
College basketball, they'll be paying very close attention to the NCAA net rankings when they come out this morning. That's because a lot of teams want to figure out where they are heading into this final week of the regular season as they jockey for position for the NCAA tournament. SLU is one of those. They host Loyola on Wednesday. That'll be a big one for them. If they win it, they'll be A10 regular season champions, and they also will have another win under their belt that would push them to 27-3 with one more game on the schedule at George Mason before the A10 tournament. As for the Missouri Valley Conference, the NCAA net rankings are going to determine seeding for their tournament beginning Thursday at Enterprise Center. They still have a number of tiebreakers that they have to figure out, and they'll do that with the NCAA net ranking. The NCAA net also has a number of top 25 teams that are very curious as to where they are going to be set moving forward. As for the OVC, SIUE and Lindenwood are both in action on Wednesday in Evansville. They'll be taking on the Cougars will play Eastern Illinois, and Lindenwood gets Arkansas Little Rock. 6 and 8:30 are those games respectively. Yes, that's right. March Madness is underway. In fact, the Horizon League has a play-in game today. So we're officially in the college basketball postseason as of today. Chaim Bloom in 4 minutes. It's 6:18 on the home of the Cardinals and Billikens, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call me, Lance Drury, today, and let me get between you and the IRS. I'll protect your rights. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, our practice is focused 100% on fighting the IRS. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Call 314-260-6120. Visit Lance, DRURYlaw.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
For 100 years, KMOX has been a part of St. Louis. Now, those moments live on, preserved, remastered, and ready to be heard again. Discover KMOX from the Archives, a podcast featuring classic audio from a century of service.
Sponsored by Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original.
The KMOX from the Archives podcast, available now at KMOX100.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
In a world of change, music captures the journey of the human spirit. Join the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra for Bernstein and Robertson, American Reflections, March 6th and 7th. Conductor David Robertson returns to Powell Hall to present works by 4 American luminaries, including Leonard Bernstein's Symphony No. 2 and Robertson's own piano concerto, March 6th and 7th at Powell Hall at the Jack C. Taylor Music Center. Tickets at slso.org.
Now the news. At 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
6:20, here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we're doing all right out there so far this morning. Tom, with the weather aside, I guess, this traffic reports the service of Chesterfield Fence and Deck. We do have one crash. They have the right lane blocked, westbound 255, before you get to Telegraph for it, but not bothering anybody. Lighter traffic through there. It was a car off the roadway. If you're on northbound 55, the right lane's bogged down north of Butler Hill up to the 270 exit, and then all lanes are just kind of slow in the work zone from Bayless up to River to Pear. It looks good down in the Festus area in that work zone. And North 270 looks great, just a little busy in the right lanes as you approach the Clayton Road overpass, so again, not bad there. Out west, eastbound 70 and eastbound 64 coming in from Wentzville, southbound 61, hooking up with those across the Missouri River bridges are in fine shape. And on the Illinois side, westbound 64, still good to go through the O'Fallon Fairview Heights area. No delays coming across the bridges. Chesterfield Fence and Deck is your premier provider of fences, decks, patios, sunrooms, and more. Call them for a free estimate today. Now offering 48 months interest-free financing on your next outdoor project. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, chesterfieldfence.com. Next update is 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It is 6:22, and any lingering rain that you're seeing should be moving out this morning. And we'll just have mostly cloudy skies today with a high of 46. But check this out. Tomorrow and Wednesday, it'll be low 60s both days with occasional rain and a thunderstorm. Thursday, a high around 70 with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm. So it's going to be a rainy week. But as we head into the weekend again, Friday, showers and a couple thunderstorms. We could be closing in on 80 degrees. Right now, it's 35 downtown.
It's 6:22. I get a chance every Sunday to visit with Cardinals President of Baseball Operations, Chaim Bloom. Always a highly anticipated segment, and this one certainly was.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing great. Busy day for you. Big news day today as Ollie Marmol receives a 2-year contract extension. It'll start next year. There's a club option for 29. How long has this been in the works, Chaim?
A good while, actually. Obviously spring training sometimes is extension season, but this was something fairly early in the off season, just working with Ollie. Thought, from my seat that this is something that made sense organizationally. Obviously, we had some other business we had to take care of throughout the off season, so we were able to come together and get it done now. But we've been talking about this for a little while.
And this happened a couple of years ago. I remember sitting down for lunch, got the alert that there's going to be a press conference to announce an Ollie extension. That was in 24. That was under a different president of baseball operations in John Mozeliak. So you've had 2 years to observe, to follow. What did you observe over that time that led you to this decision?
Yeah, bottom line, I've enjoyed working with him. It was great to be able to get to know him during that time when I was in the advisory role, and obviously only been a few short months working with him in this seat, but it's been a lot of fun. And, it's nice to have had the chance to get to know him and see him from that other chair and just understand what makes him tick. Obviously wanted to stay out of his way and not make life confusing for him when I was in the advisory role, but just to understand him as a person and as a baseball person, get to know him was really helpful. And, you have someone here who, look, this is going to be his 20th season with the Cardinals, so he understands what this organization is about, what separates it, what has separated it historically. But also with that, understanding that what needs to separate this organization, what always has, is us leading the way and us setting the standard. And that involves growing and changing and pushing forward. And he's committed to that. He and I have found a lot of alignment in terms of understanding, look, I've said it before, we're not where we want to be. To get there, there's some things that we're going to need to do. We have a lot of alignment on what we need to do to get there. And then I think the other thing that I would point to is, we talk a lot about growth and change, and it's something that you want from every person in the organization. We're going to beat the competition if we can learn and grow and adapt and evolve better and faster than they do. But to do that as an organization, that's going to require the people in the organization to be willing to push themselves and to look in the mirror and be willing to grow and not think of themselves as static, but think of themselves as constantly moving forward and constantly trying to get better. And he exemplifies that on a daily basis, and that's made it a lot of fun to work with him.
I was going to ask you that. You've done a really nice job on this show of taking us behind the curtain. Let us in on how involved he is on what's happening in the front office, what's happening in the minor league system. You mentioned on a daily basis, obviously he's got a lot to look over, but how is he involved organizationally with you?
Well, in that seat, I think he should be involved. I've tried to bring him into a lot of the things that we've been doing. A big part of what we're trying to build here is just a top to bottom consistency, knowing, again, this organization always wins. As you've heard me say many times, we win with our own players and we win with the players that we grow. And that's going to be easier to do if we have that feeling top to bottom. And honestly, this organization has cultivated that culturally for a long time. So we have to keep feeding that and updating it. And so as I, over the past year plus, got a chance to start, making some changes and hopefully trying to spur some progress in player development, I wanted him as a part of that. I wanted his insight. I wanted him to know what we were doing. And then that's made it more natural now. Some of the things that we were able to do, in some cases through trial and error, in some cases through some new voices, new faces, some of the things we were trying to do in player development, allowing us to be more focused and more purposeful and helping every individual player. Well, now we're adapting some of that to our big league environment and building processes there to do some of the things that we did down below last year and building them in a way that's going to be functional in the big leagues. And having him involved in that last year is now making it very natural to scale these up to our big league environment. And he's been an awesome partner in that.
That's why the timing they felt was right now to get him a contract extension. Ollie Marmol, 2-year deal. It'll start next year, run through 28. There is a club option for 2029. It's 6:27. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friend Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage Corporation. Stewie, I think this is going to be a strange season for real estate. Just kind of feel it in my gut. What can people do apropos of their mortgage to put themselves in a better position to get that house?
You know what, Dave, that's a great question. There's a bidding wars that are going to happen this spring. You want to get the house. This is how you're going to make things better. Number one, we give you the power of the pre-approval letter. That means you can go into our portal and generate the letter and edit it for any amount you want up to the amount you're approved without chasing the loan officer. Number two, the bagel loan, no closing costs, no title fees, no lender fees, no appraisal fees. It's a bagel. Bagel looks like a zero, easy to remember. Add that money you would normally pay onto your bid and beat the other offers out. And you know what? The third thing is we can close fast. 10 days. They're going to look away at the other offers because most lenders take as much as 30 days to get done.
You can call or text Stewie at his personal cell phone, 314-324-4440, or you can Google the bagel loan, NMLS 226715.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathy Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey, it's Dave. Right now, buy 2 windows and get 2 free and 0% financing for 36 months, plus $500 off your project. Call 314-334-2522. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Zero Res. You know they do such a great job. Beat the spring cleaning rush and call our cleaning heroes now. This month, buy 1, get 1 room of carpet clean for free. Unlimited rooms of carpet. Visit ZeroResSTL.com and let them know that Dave sent you.
It is 6:30, and right now it's cloudy, 35 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Roger Brand is in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, I just had another call out for EMS folks on westbound 255 at Telegraph. They do have the right lane blocked, but again, a lot of not a lot of traffic, lighter traffic coming through the area. And it's before the merge on with Telegraph getting onto westbound 255. So you're not having that traffic in the mix. So traffic's still getting by fine there. Now it is busy on northbound 55, Butler Hill up to 270 in the right lanes, and all lanes are bogging down again from the Union Road overpass up through to about Virginia. North 270 itself, you've got slow traffic from 44 up to about Big Bend, but then it's sorting itself out after that. Eastbound 70, Z to 64, a little slow. Southbound 61, south of Wentzville Parkway down to 64. That's a little bit heavy as well. On the Illinois side, things still look great. 64 in the O'Fallon, Fairview Heights area, no issues in the construction zones, and it's still clear across the bridges. Next update at 6:40 from the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's going to be a cloudy day today. In fact, this whole week is going to be pretty rainy. Bit of rain moving away this morning, but we could see a bit of late rain. A high today of 46. Rain in a thunderstorm maybe tomorrow and Wednesday. Low 60s both days. Near 70 on Thursday with showers and a thunderstorm. And showers and storms stay with us Friday, but close to 80 degrees. It's 35 right now.
A boil order advisory issued for Maryland Heights. That advisory came Saturday afternoon from Missouri American Water, who said the advisory is expected to last until around 4 p.m. today. The advisory affects parts of Maryland Heights, Bridgeton, and Earth City. It's recommended that water being used for drinking or cooking should be brought to a rolling boil for 3 minutes. The water is safe for bathing, washing, and other non-consumable uses.
Hammerstones in Soulard is lamenting yet another smash-in. This time it was early Saturday morning. The suspect or suspects didn't steal anything, but broke windows and damaged the front door. The bar's owner says this is the 6th time that they've been hit. On social media, he called for city officials to start taking action to protect businesses and the community.
What's next in the Middle East? Most observers can't venture a guess, but our KMOX political analysts say there are clues.
Hancock is concerned the Trump administration doesn't have all of its I's dotted and T's crossed. The stated goal is regime change in Iran, but he says that's never happened in modern warfare just by airstrikes.
We hope and pray for the best outcome here, but I don't know that the preparation for this thing doesn't seem to me to have been particularly thorough.
Democratic analyst Michael Kelly says his biggest fear is a long-term global conflict.
We have a politically desperate president who campaigned on doing the exact opposite of what he's doing throughout the world. And I do believe there's political motivation behind it because he's afraid he's going to lose the House and the Senate. I'm worried about the start of World War III.
Obviously a chilling thought, but in just a couple of days, the fighting has spread to 7 other Middle Eastern countries. Scott Jagow, KMOX News.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. We've got your Bloomberg Money Minute coming up next. It's 6:33.
Hey guys, it's Dave from The Glover Show, trying to explain The Glover Show. So when I was a younger man, I used to go to happy hour almost every night, and I loved it. And I've always thought of my show as being like happy hour. It's always interesting. It's often silly, but not always. You know, there are real things to talk about. I am amongst friends, politics, and personal things. So that's what it is, really. It's happy hour for thousands of us every day between 1 p.m. and 5 p.m. And I hope you'll tune in and join the happy hour.
When it comes to planning your retirement, there's a lot to think about. Portfolio management, tax planning, and retirement income just to get started. Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group focus on those things and more. Their goal is to help you achieve your goals. Call 636-230-8824 or online, yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve All, NPN number 153-07419.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's 6:35. Your business report is sponsored by Amon, Gantner, and Capriano, Elder Law Attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. The co-CEO of Netflix is explaining why they dropped out of the fight to take over Warner Brothers. It was made based on various bidding scenarios Netflix had worked out in advance, and co-CEO Ted Sarandos says they knew exactly what to do when they received notice of the superior offer. Sarandos believes the Paramount deal will lead to cost-cutting, including $16 billion in cuts and thousands of job eliminations, and says Netflix will continue to invest in its business and find new ways to work with theater owners. Amazon Web Services suffered a disruption to its services after unidentified objects struck one of its data centers in the United Arab Emirates, causing a fire. AWS says one of its availability zones was impacted by objects that struck the center, creating sparks. Amazon operates 123 zones of data centers across 39 regions globally. Dow futures have plunged more than 500 points as S&P futures are down around 80 points amid the conflict between the U.S. and Iran. Matt Piper, Bloomberg Radio.
Attention business owners with a net income over $500,000. You need to work with a tax strategist that understands your entrepreneurial mindset. Download the most recent white paper written by E3 Consultants Group titled The Power of a Professional Tax Strategy Team. Go to e3wealth.com/radio to obtain a copy. It's time to learn about wealth and tax strategies that protect your personal and business economy. E3 is ready to help you think differently about your finances. Educate, empower, enlighten. That's the E3 difference.
Big savings at Menards. Mastercraft has been making high-quality doors for more than 50 years. Choose from our huge in-stock selection or design your door your way with our free step-by-step design program. And get your new door in 7 days or less. Save big money on Mastercraft doors. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
The 46th Builder St. Louis Home and Garden Show, presented by James Hardy, is back.
This St. Louis tradition returns to America's Center March 6th through 8th.
Shop hundreds of local companies for home improvement deals.
Find ideas, inspiration, and expert advice.
Come tour amazing outdoor living spaces, learn from expert gardeners, and browse our spa showcase to turn your backyard dreams into reality.
The Home and Garden Show is back at America's Center March 6th through 8th.
Details at stlhomeshow.com.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Rush Hour Sports, Matt Pauley, Kevin Wheeler with you here.
Bernie Nicholas joins Rush Hour Sports tonight at 5 on America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
It is 6:39. The FBI is investigating a Texas bar shooting that killed 2 and wounded 4 as a possible terrorist act. Authorities say the gunman was wearing clothes with an Iranian flag design and the words "property of Allah." They say that the shooting in Austin is being investigated as a potential act of terrorism. Police shot and killed the man who had used both a pistol and a rifle early in the shooting on Sunday, a day after the U.S. and Israel launched an attack on Iran.
Where do things stand now? The United States and Israel targeted Iran in coordinated attacks over the weekend. There are concerns about a wider regional war after Iranian strikes hit Israel and U.S. military bases in the region, as well as Gulf nations. Iranian officials are hurrying to select a new supreme leader for the first time since 1989. President Trump has urged Iranians to seize the moment and overthrow the theocracy that cracked down on nationwide protests early this year.
6:40, it's a cloudy, breezy morning, and you may see some rain in your neck of the woods, although that should start moving out. We'll be checking in with our AccuWeather meteorologist in just a moment. But first, here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we're gradually building a little more volume out there, Debbie. This traffic reports the service of the Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm. Still working that crash, westbound 255 at Telegraph. Barely a slowdown through there, just a little busy now as we're getting a little more volume there. The right lane is blocked for it. It was a car off the roadway incident. Northbound 55 bogs down. South of Butler Hill up to 270 in the right lanes. All lanes back up just north of the Union Road overpass to River to Pear. It remains slow up through Virginia after that. Northbound 270 itself, both sides of Gravois are slow, really in pockets. Approaching Gravois up to about Big Bend, but then it sorts itself out. Out west, we're looking good. Southbound 61 on to eastbound 64, eastbound 70. Downtown, westbound 64, just a little slow at the Poplar. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. We're partners committed to you, your business, and your community. From family law to litigation, we're ready to serve. Visit SandbergPhoenix.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zaire, what are you seeing for us on this Monday morning?
Well, taking a look at the radar right now, we kind of have a very straight line extending from west to east on the southern part of the city and then on southward where the rain is still falling. The good news is that the back edge of that rain is fast catching up with us, and we're going to be seeing the rain winding down over the next hour, maybe 2. From then on, even though it's going to be tough to get rid of the clouds today and it does stay chilly, at least we're dry. We'll get back to about 46. It does not cool off much tonight. We only get down to about 40 as we stay cloudy with a bit of rain coming back in late at night. And despite occasional rain and a thunderstorm then on and off through the day tomorrow and the day on Wednesday, we're actually going to warm up. We'll be up to around 62 on both of those days. We'll get closer to 70 then with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm on Thursday. And then the showers and thunderstorms are still around on Friday. It's going to be an even warmer day with a high close to perhaps our first 80-degree reading of the year. 35 in St. Peters, 34 in Florissant, and 36 downtown at the Arch right now. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zaire on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 6:43. Thank you, Heather. The Illinois Retail Merchants Association is helping to teach the next generation of retailers.
The Illinois Retail Merchants Association, the state's largest private sector employer, generating $112 billion in economic activity annually, is providing real-world training in retail and industry exposure to aspiring retailers. Some apprentices already hard at work. More will soon begin their training at the College of Lake County this month. Coursework includes lessons on customer service, on cash flow, on inventory management. Apprentices receive a retail operations specialist certificate. That's a nationally recognized credential validating their skills and experience. Jan Coleman, 105.9 WBBM.
The Supreme Court will hear arguments today in a major Second Amendment case challenging a federal law that bans unlawful drug users from possessing firearms. The case tests how far gun rights extend under the court's 2022 decision expanding the right to carry. Here's CBS News legal contributor Jessica Levinson.
In this particular case, the court is applying the framework that it created in a recent case called Bruin. In that Bruin case, the court created a new standard for when we can uphold restrictions under the Second Amendment. Specifically, under the Bruin case, restrictions on gun ownership or possession must be consistent with the Second Amendment's text and historical understanding.
Well, it's too bad that we have cloudy skies pretty much all week long because a total lunar eclipse will turn the moon blood red tomorrow morning.
The blood red moon will be visible from North America, Central America, and the western part of South America. Australia and Eastern Asia will see it Tuesday night. During a full lunar eclipse, the Earth is between the sun and moon, casting a shadow that covers the full moon. The moon looks red because of its stray bits of sunlight filtering through Earth's atmosphere. There won't be another total lunar eclipse until late 2028. Jennifer Kuiper, CBS News.
They'll see it in Jupiter, Florida. It's going to be a sunny day today with a high of 79. Same thing tomorrow. KMOX's Matt Pauley at Cardinal Spring Training.
In a 6-1 loss to the Pirates on Sunday, Kyle Leahy makes his second start of the spring, allowing 4 runs in 2 2/3 innings. 2 of the runs score on a first-inning home run from 19-year-old phenom Connor Griffin, who is widely considered the top prospect in all of baseball. After the game, manager Oliver Marmol concedes that it was not a great day for Leahy, but they're not worried about him in general.
He gets clipped early, but he still gets off the field with 11 pitches after that. Yeah, I would say just not as sharp as he would have wanted to be this outing. But you look at his lives and his previous stuff, like pretty encouraging. So you're going to have days that look like today. Obviously, you don't want to stack them together, but I actually don't mind where he's at.
Leahy appears to be in competition with Andre Palante and Richard Fitz for one of the final 2 spots in the rotation. Hunter Dobbins could still enter that mix at some point, but he has yet to appear in a Grapefruit League game as they take it slow with him coming off an ACL tear. In Jupiter, Florida at Cardinal Spring Training, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
Ollie Marmol gets a contract extension, 2 years starting next season, running through 28 with a club option for 29. President of Baseball Operations Chaim Bloom went in depth yesterday on Sports on a Sunday Morning as to why he did that now. Henry Wells comments on YouTube that he liked that interview. We appreciate that, Henry. You can see that now, hear it at KMOX.com on our Sports on a Sunday Morning podcast page. We also talked to SLU coach Josh Schertz. His team is sitting there now at 26-3, and they take on Loyola on Wednesday night, senior night at Chaifetz Arena. Still not considered a lock for the NCAA tournament. His thoughts on March.
I mean, you just got to concentrate on what's in front of you. Like I always say, there's a lot of amateur, bracketologists out there that are, I've heard, we have to win every single game now to get in the tournament. If we lose any of these last 2 and anything in Pittsburgh, we're out. Somebody said if we lose to Mason and lose in Pittsburgh, we're out. I mean, I don't, I can only read what I read. There's some that are a little better than others. Do I think we're locked into anything yet? No, we gotta, to win the league, we gotta take care of business, on Wednesday night. That's a big thing. We take care of business there. We clinched the number 1 seed in the regular season championship here in the A-10, which is obviously a huge accomplishment. If we can do it, we have 2 chances to do it. Might as well try to take advantage of one at home. In terms of the at-large stuff, most of what I've seen, has us pretty clearly in the field as a 7 or 8 right now. We're going to have a quad 4 at home. We have a quad 2 at George Mason, and we'll likely start Pittsburgh with a quad 2 game.
That is the Atlantic 10 tournament coming up in Pittsburgh. The OVC tournament is set with a couple of games on Wednesday. SIUE and Lindenwood will both be in action, but the Missouri Valley Conference seeding will not be officially set until the NCAA net rankings come out later this morning. The Blues won 3-1 at Minnesota yesterday, snapping a 10-game road winless skid. And as for NASCAR, Tyler Reddick wins at the Circuit of the Americas. 3rd straight win for him to start the season. Nobody has ever done that in NASCAR history. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Cardinals and Billikens, 104.1 FM, KMOX. City loses to San Diego last night. Jen Cease with a report in a half hour.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-885-3100. 800-885-3100. 800-885-3100.
Neovitin began with one doctor's mission to help others feel their best. After years of caring for patients, Dr. Ken Ribicki, a St. Louis physician, created Neovitin, a line of multivitamins designed with quality, safety, and everyday wellness in mind. Each formula is made in the U.S. using the finest domestic and international ingredients to support real people living real lives. Discover the difference today with Neovitin, available at Schnucks, Dierbergs, and neovitin.com. Neovitin, trusted nutrition from St. Louis for St. Louis.
Make your reservations now for the 2026 Women of Achievement Award Luncheon, presented by KMOX. The award luncheon takes place Tuesday, May 19th at the Ritz-Carlton, St. Louis, and celebrates 10 outstanding volunteers from across the St. Louis metropolitan region. Doors open at 11:15, and the luncheon runs until 1:30 p.m. Reservations are just $60 per person. Sign up and find more details now at KMOX.com/events.
Now the news at 1 the fun. It's the Dave Glover Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
6:51, Jill Schlesinger, our CBS News business analyst, on the way. Let's get you updated on the roadways from Roger Brand and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, heading out on the highways isn't terrible yet. It is slow, though, Debbie. Certainly on northbound Highway 55, you're bogged down in the right lanes, just approaching Butler Hill up to 270. And then there's heavy traffic from the Union Road overpass to River to Pear. They cleared that crash westbound 255 at Telegraph. The 270 delays are north of 55 through Gravois, primarily Doherty Ferry through Manchester. After that, out west, we still look okay on southbound 61, eastbound 70 and 64, although northbound 61, we have looks like a crash at Highway W, so there's a little bit of a northbound backup, not impacting southbound drivers, thankfully. And on the Illinois side, things are still good to go, just a little slow westbound on the Poplar Street Bridge itself. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Honey, I found the one.
Oh, I thought I was the one.
Oh, you are, but this one's certified, background check, shows up on time, and can install all the ceiling fans.
Heating, cooling, electrical, and plumbing. Trusted pros who do it right.
AccuWeather's Heather Zaire says any lingering rain is going to move away early this morning. Mostly cloudy and chilly today with a high of 46. A bit of rain late tonight, low 40. More clouds tomorrow, but we warm up to 62 with a chance of a thunderstorm. Thursday, cloudy again, but showers and a thunderstorm and a high near 70. And get this, Friday, a high close to 80. While we stay cloudy, it's going to feel very warm on Friday. Right now, it's not warm. It's 36 with some drizzle in spots downtown at the Arch.
6:53, time to check in with our CBS News business analyst, Jill Schlesinger. And Jill, the good news is that mortgage rates went down a little, but homes are still, if you'll excuse the made-up word, not very affordable.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I know, first of all, I just a quick note that I understand people are kind of freaked out about what's going on in Iran and how that's going to impact your money. And just like one moment here that I just got to say that, gang, we don't know right now, but if this goes on for a long time, it's going to have a more long-lasting impact. Try to tune out the noise, stick to your game plan, not make any big changes right now. Let's see how things go. And before, you think you know what's going to happen, just, 6 months ago, nobody thought this was going to happen. So just like kind of deep breath there. Now, interestingly, that we got some interesting last week. We found out that 30-year mortgage rates went down below the 6% level for the first time in 3.5 years. That's kind of amazing that we're celebrating 6%. Remember 3? So it is good. And you're right, affordability is still a tough thing. And here's what we know. In the last 5-6 years, what has happened is although incomes have gone up, so too have home prices, and so too have mortgage rates, and so too have property taxes, and so too have the cost of homeowners insurance. So it is not particularly affordable to buy a home right now. Doesn't mean you shouldn't. You got to run the numbers. But I think that mortgage rates dropping below that psychologically important barrier of 6% does help some.
What if you're a renter? What should you know there?
Well, I'm taking a little bit of a page from the young folks out there. We have evidence that younger people think housing is way out of their possibility and realm of possibility. So what they're doing is they're investing in retirement accounts and investing in the markets and trying to decide like, hey, if I had to be a renter, isn't there another way to accumulate wealth? And they're right. So that's the good news, which is if you're a renter, all the money that you would have put towards a house, ask your parents right now, just like, wow, that feels so crazy. You sink all that money into a house. That money can be working for you if you get it working for you in a retirement plan in the market. So that's not the worst thing in the world, but just spending it is not the alternative.
Jill, I did an event last week with Alberto Musalem, the president of the St. Louis Fed, and I walked out of there. I'm like, oh, darn it. I forgot to tell him that Jill Schlesinger said on the air how great they're doing. So now that I have this friendship with him,
just tell him
I'll come back to
love
him.
that Fred website. I'm on it every day. Love the St. Louis Fed. Just get me an invite, will you?
Yeah, I will. We'll set that up. We appreciate you. Thank you, Jill. Jill Schlesinger, JillOnMoney.com, CBS News business analyst.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement. It's your birthday.
I mean, a lot of celebrity birthdays. Let me rip through them real quick. Former Cardinal Ron Gant. Can't believe he's 61. I covered him as a player. He was a really good one. Ben Roethlisberger, Henrik Lundqvist, quarterback and goaltender, respectively, both 44 today. John Bon Jovi's 64. Daniel Craig's 58. Chris Martin, very talented frontman for Coldplay's 49. And Luke Combs, who always sings about growing old. I'm like, dude, you're 36. What are you talking about?
Got a ways to go.
Yeah.
Local celebrity birthday sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back, family owned and top rated, RennerDoorSTL.com. Happy birthday wishes going out to Joan Scrabatz of Swansea, Paul Holdener, Shelby Clamorous, Teresa Stein, and also Robert Wallace and the fabulous Karen Gehring.
This is the best birthday ever.
New tax resolution firms are popping up every day with high-paid celebrity endorsers, advertising ridiculous claims in their TV ads. That's why they have the tiny, unreadable disclaimers at the bottom of the screen. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. Our ads never have those ridiculous, fast-talking, tiny disclaimers at the end because, simply put, there are no guarantees when it comes to the IRS and wiping out tax bills. And we don't make promises we can't keep. Of course, there are ways the Lance Drury Law Firm can help resolve your tax debt, but no company can guarantee it will eliminate it. This is why their clients call the Lance Drury Law Firm when those promises don't pan out. If you have tax problems, you have legal problems, call me, Lance Drury in St. Louis at 314-260-6120 or visit Lance, DRURY law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Don't miss Mosby Building Arts Home Improvement Shows, Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KMOX. One of the last call-in shows where you can get live answers to your remodeling, design, and construction questions. Tune in Saturdays at 11 a.m.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
With Fidelity Wealth Management, a dedicated advisor gets to know you and your goals to build a comprehensive plan to help grow and protect your wealth. Backed by a team of specialists, they'll analyze all your accounts, even the ones they don't manage, to keep an eye on taxes and provide proactive portfolio insights that can help you unlock your wealth's full potential. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. Member NYSE SIPC.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, the right lanes of North 55 are just kind of busy around the Mattis overpass to 270, and all lanes from the Union Road overpass up to River to Pear. North 270 approaching Tesson Ferry and approaching Gravois Midway to 44. One more time. Doherty Ferry to Manchester and at 64. Those are all slowdowns. They cleared that incident northbound 61 at W. Do have an injury crash reported, though, on New Sugar Creek at Highway 30. Next update at 7:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Right now, we have 36 degrees. We've had some light drizzle in downtown St. Louis. I'm Tom Ackerman alongside Debbie Monterrey, and these are the stories making news.
I'm Maria Aquina with what one professor is saying about the military action in Iran.
After the Trump administration blacklisted AI company Anthropic, clearing the way for Burroughs grad and OpenAI CEO Sam Altman's ChatGPT to move in, the internet had other ideas.
We have plenty coming up in terms of sports at 7:15.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Sirens in Jerusalem this morning as Israelis scramble for safety, with breaking news now on the death of a fourth American troop since the war with Iran began 2 days ago. CENTCOM says the soldier died after being seriously wounded during Iran's initial attacks. And we've learned U.S. officials say Kuwait is responsible for downing 3 American fighter jets. Correspondent Charlie D'Agata reports from Tel Aviv.
The aircraft were mistakenly hit by Kuwaiti air defenses. All 6 aircrew ejected safely, according to a statement from U.S. Central Command. Kuwait, also the site of the first U.S. combat deaths of the military operation President Trump announced overnight Saturday.
The Pentagon is giving an update right now. President Trump says he expects the war to last 4 to 5 weeks. Correspondent Weijia Jiang is at the White House.
The new potential leadership in Iran has indicated they want to talk. But early this morning, Iran's security chief appeared to shut the door on that, posting, "We will not negotiate with the United States."
Iran State TV reports a new barrage of missiles fired at Israel in response to its attack that killed the country's supreme leader. The Ayatollah may have sensed the end was near. CBS's Imtiaz Tayyab.
According to reports, last month, Khamenei issued detailed contingency orders in the event of his death, instructing senior military and government leaders to name up to 4 replacements.
Many are celebrating on the streets of Iran, as well as in Los Angeles, Iranian community of Westwood. American allies overseas are getting on board, some reluctantly.
I'm Vicky Barker in London. After some agonized fence wobbling, British Prime Minister Keir Starmer has okayed Washington's request to access UK-run air bases for, quote, specific and limited defensive purpose.
We have taken the decision to accept this request.
France and Germany now also willing to assist in some way, although they, like the UK, would most likely confine their roles to defensive operations only.
The FBI is investigating after a U.S. citizen from Senegal shot and killed 2 people at a bar in Austin, Texas. 14 were injured. Special Agent Alex Doran.
There were indicators that on the subject and in his vehicle that indicate potential nexus to terrorism.
Police shot and killed that suspect. Oil prices are spiking after the U.S. attack on Iran. Dow futures are down 551. NASDAQ futures off 354. This is CBS News.
Go to the ends of the earth, half a world away. Reach for the stars.
If I take time to think, they might go get Brad.
On CBS, Sunday morning.
Okay, class, let's begin.
Psst, love your boots. I just sold a pair like that on eBay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it took like 2 seconds to list and they sold almost immediately. I've been selling everything lately. Some chunky boots, a faux fur coat I never wore, and a vintage chair that was more of an expensive clothing rack.
You know, I actually bought these on eBay. Wait, are you Kitty Sell Stuff from Brooklyn?
Okay, quiet, please.
Find what you love, sell what you don't. eBay. Things people love.
Jen, I didn't know you shopped here.
Hey, I'm hunting for something fresh for spring.
Oh, girl, skip them all. Jewelry Television has the best spring looks right now.
JTV, way ahead of you. Just hit up JTV.com yesterday. Scored the cutest clover earrings, 2 tennis bracelets, and this gorgeous pearl ring.
Right now, new customers get $20 off any purchase of $99 or more at JTV.com.
Oh, and gold hoops and this turquoise bracelet.
Just a couple things, huh?
Maybe more than a couple.
It's 7:04 right now. We're going to a press briefing, the Pentagon, with Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth.
Ships, murders at our embassies, roadside bombs in Iraq and Afghanistan, funded and armed by Iranian Quds Force and IRGC killers. My generation of veterans carry the names of brothers who never came home. Brothers butchered by Iranian-backed roadside bombs and well-armed militias. Thousands of our own. We didn't start this war, but under President Trump, we are finishing it. Their war on Americans has become our retribution against their Ayatollah and his death cult. It took the 47th president, a fighter who always puts America first, to finally draw the line after 47 years of Iranian belligerence. He reminded the world, as he has time and time again, being an American means something unbreakable. If you kill Americans, if you threaten Americans anywhere on earth, we will hunt you down without apology and without hesitation, and we will kill you. President Trump has also been very consistent. Crazy regimes like Iran, hell-bent on prophetic Islamist delusions, cannot have nuclear weapons. It's common sense. Many have said it, but it takes guts to actually enforce it, and our president has guts. Iran's stubborn and self-evident nuclear pursuits, their targeting of global shipping lanes, and their swelling arsenal of ballistic missiles and killer drones are no longer tolerable risks. Iran was building powerful missiles and drones to create a conventional shield for their nuclear blackmail ambitions. Let me say that again. A conventional shield for their nuclear blackmail ambitions. Our bases, our people, our allies, all in their crosshairs. Iran had a conventional gun to our head as they tried to lie their way to a nuclear bomb. It almost worked under Obama and his terrible deal, but not under this president. Turns out the regime who chanted death to America and death to Israel was gifted death from America and death from Israel. This is not a so-called regime change war, but the regime sure did change, and the world is better off for it. Today, in their desperation, the enemy is unmasked as Iranian missiles and drones rain down indiscriminately on the hotels, airports, apartments, and other civilian targets of their neighbors. Cowardly terrorist tactics from a regime that for decades has trafficked in cowardly terrorist tactics, lies, death, and destruction to this day. The Iranian leadership has built nothing except proxies and missiles and drones and deeply buried nuclear factories and facilities. Peaceful nuclear ambitions do not need to be buried underneath mountains. Last June, Operation Midnight Hammer obliterated their nuclear program to rubble. Afterward, we told them plainly, that's it, now make a deal. They arrogantly refused. We said, rebuild it and we'll stop you again, this time far worse. Well, President Trump, Secretary Rubio, Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner, they bent over backwards for real diplomacy, offering pathway after pathway to peace. I watched it. I was there. They tried over and over and over again, earnest attempts at peace. The former regime had every chance to make a peaceful and sensible deal. But Tehran was not negotiating. They were stalling, buying time to reload their missile stockpiles and restart their nuclear ambitions. Their goal, hold us hostage, threatening to strike our forces. Well, President Trump doesn't play those games. And as Secretary Rubio said after the Maduro raid, if you don't know, now you know. President Trump puts America and Americans first. He doesn't hesitate, and neither do our troops. The mission of Operation Epic Fury is laser focused. Destroy Iranian offensive missiles, destroy Iranian missile production, destroy their navy and other security infrastructure, and they will never have nuclear weapons. We're hitting them surgically, overwhelmingly, and unapologetically. With every passing day, our capabilities get stronger and Iran's get weaker. We set the terms of this war from start to finish. Our ambitions are not utopian. They are realistic, scoped to our interests and the defense of our people and our allies. Speaking of people, we hope the Iranian people take advantage of this incredible opportunity. President Trump has been clear, now is your time. To Iranian security forces, choose wisely. President Trump has also been clear about your fate in either direction. To the media outlets and political left screaming endless wars, stop. This is not Iraq. This is not endless. I was there for both. Our generation knows better, and so does this president. He called the last 20 years of nation-building wars dumb, and he's right. This is the opposite. This operation is a clear, devastating, decisive mission. Destroy the missile threat, destroy the Navy, no nukes. Israel has clear missions as well, for which we are grateful. Capable partners, as we've said since the beginning, capable partners are good partners. Unlike so many of our traditional allies who wring their hands and clutch their pearls, hemming and hawing about the use of force. America, regardless of what so-called international institutions say, is unleashing the most lethal and precise air power campaign in history. B-2s, fighters, drones, missiles, and of course, classified effects. All on our terms, with maximum authorities. No stupid rules of engagement, no nation-building quagmire, no democracy-building exercise, no politically correct wars. We fight to win, and we don't waste time or lives.
That is Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth at the Pentagon saying, we didn't start this war, but under President Trump, we are finishing it. It's 7:12. Back in a moment. This is Total Information AM.
Wesley is a truck driver.
I drive a truck and I love what I do.
A truck driver with IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Quite a few letters in the mail. They were talking about wage garnishment, coming after my house, my car. Yeah, they don't play around. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
One sleepless night, Wesley finally made a call to Optima Tax Relief at 2 a.m.
Kind of figured I'd get a machine, but I didn't. I actually got to talk to an actual person in the middle of the night.
He found just what he was looking for.
Oh, they were great people. You need a team of people that know what they're doing. Optima Tax, they know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. Happy don't even come close. I was absolutely overjoyed.
Take Wesley's advice.
If you're in any kind of trouble with the IRS, call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Midwest winters take a real toll on your garage door. Let my friends at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis come out and perform their 26-point tune-up on your garage door and opener. The work is guaranteed, and it's just one price for up to 3 garage doors and openers. No extra charge for evening or Saturday service. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis since 1926, 100 years. Schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. That's overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Start your summer early at the St. Charles Boat Show, March 5th through 8th at the St. Charles Convention Center. The top marine dealers from the Lake of the Ozarks will be on site with the newest boats, personal watercraft, docks, and accessories. Step aboard, compare models, and find the perfect ride for your family. Special show pricing and experts ready to help make your boating dreams a reality. Visit lakeoftheozarksboatdealers.com for more information.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It is 7:14 from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk. We are going to have a mostly cloudy day today, and it's going to be 46 degrees. That's the coldest day of this forecast because while we do have rain and thunderstorms in the forecast with us all the way through Friday, tomorrow 62 degrees, Wednesday 62, Thursday near 70, Friday near 80. So those are the temperatures. But again, it'll be a cloudy week with rain and thunderstorms pretty much with us all week long. Right now, though, it looks like the drizzle has stopped downtown. It's cloudy and 35 degrees.
It's 7:15. Let's start with the late game last night. St. Louis City SC. Here's Jen Cease.
St. Louis City SC fell 2-0 on the road at San Diego in their first away match of the season. San Diego wasted no time scoring in the third minute and putting City on the back foot early. Head coach Yohan DeMay said afterward that the opening stretch set the tone.
I think we gave them a little too much respect playing away, playing against a good team. I think there was a little bit of that. I think we needed to be a little bit more physical, a little bit more maybe feisty in those moments and stand our ground.
City settled in after that and grew into the game, but the second goal in the 54th and San Diego's sophisticated play ultimately put the game out of reach. Goalkeeper Roman Berkey delivered several huge saves to keep things close, and despite 61% possession for San Diego, the expected goals were nearly even. DeMay called it a learning moment, saying the group is still building and still growing. They'll turn their attention to hosting the Seattle Sounders on Saturday at Energizer Park. With the City Spotlight, I'm Jen Cease, KMOX Sports.
Now to baseball, and this spring training report is sponsored by St. Louis Composting, growing gardens and making memories.
As Cardinals catcher Ivan Herrera has returned from off-season elbow surgery, the club has been deliberate in the process. Another milestone is hit as he appears in a Grapefruit League game as a catcher for the first time Sunday in the team's 6-1 loss to the Pirates. Nothing notable happens with him defensively, which is probably good. No one ran against him. He did attempt a back pick on the bases with the runner getting back in, but the throw was on target with apparent good velocity. According to manager Oliver Marmol, the 3-inning defensive outing is a success.
Yeah, he had the back pick, I think, in the second. But I thought he did a nice job, received well, kind of managed the game well with Leahy as far as just being on the same page of what he wanted to attack hitters with. But overall, nice job. Good 3 innings. We'll throw him back out there.
Herrera and the club remain open to him continuing to catch, but how often that might happen is not yet clear. The team is optimistic about his throwing after they reprogrammed his throwing motion during the offseason. In Jupiter, Florida at Cardinal Spring Training, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
Create the ultimate raised bed garden with St. Louis Composting. Our premium compost and soil mixes are perfect for filling the raised beds you'll enjoy building, and even better for growing fresh, homegrown veggies. Imagine harvesting your own tomatoes, peppers, and cilantro for fresh salsa the whole family can enjoy. And with delivery right to your door, getting started has never been easier. Visit stlcompost.com to order a convenient delivery from your phone in seconds, or stop by one of our 9 locations in the St. Louis area. St. Louis Composting, growing gardens and making memories.
Hey, Happy New Year, big boy. Hey, what's up, Izzy? Also known as the Kool-Aid Man. You got any New Year's resolutions?
I got one, Eddie. I've promised myself to spend more time on that toasty, warm, huge, heated outdoor patio of yours. It's nothing like having your coat off, drinking the coldest beer in town with hundreds of your family, friends.
Man, it is a toasted patio, and that's a great resolution. And, thanks for not mentioning things like weight loss and health kick. And those would be hard in Fast Eddie's. It'd be hard to lose any kind of weight or take away from anything when you got the 5-pound Fat Eddie burger, the hot chick on a stick, that big Elwood on a stick, and those succulent peel and eat shrimp.
Yeah, I am not losing any weight hanging around your place. I learned it's a lot easier just to make those resolutions simple and fun, buddy.
Man, and that's easy. You're right. That's a great resolution. So make your resolution fun. And head on over to Fast Eddie's Bon Air. You know where to go across that big, beautiful Clark Bridge and come into Alton, Illinois. So like Mr. Shannon always said, if you're 21 and in the mood, we'll see you at Fast Eddie's Bon Air.
Kool-Aid Man.
Want to hear a shocking statistic? Medical malpractice is the third leading cause of death in America. Don't believe it? Google it. And that doesn't count serious injuries like birth injuries to perfectly healthy children. All doctors wear white jackets, but it doesn't make them all the same. Most medical errors are committed by the same quacks over and over again. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Many hospitals looking for more profits are forcing doctors and their groups to be employees of the hospital or be forced out of their system. It's a troubling trend in medicine. People make mistakes, but medical mistakes are huge and often forever. If you believe your child suffered a birth injury or a misdiagnosis or mistake led to a loved one's death or injury, let our team of medical malpractice lawyers examine your case for free. No recovery, no fee. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Total Information AM. The news continues on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, it looks like we have a stalled school bus westbound 44 at Shrewsbury. They're blocking the right lane for it, so just be prepared as you come through there. Light enough volume, though. We also have an incident. It looks like it's at the end of the ramp-on lane from 270, or from 44, rather, on to northbound 270. Northbound 270 is slow, just north of 55, and it jams approaching 44 up to that scene. Then it opens up, and it runs well after that. Northbound 55, of course, the right lane's bogged down at Butler Hill. All lanes bail us up to River to Pear or bumper to bumper. Downtown, we still look okay. Just a little slow westbound 64 at 159. Next update is 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
AccuWeather's Heather Zare says we're looking at a chilly day today, mostly cloudy, a high of 46. Tonight, overcast, not as cold, with a bit of rain late, low 40. We warm up to 62 on Tuesday and Wednesday with occasional rain. Thursday, chance of a thunderstorm, high near 70. Friday's high 80 with a chance of some rain. Currently, we're looking at a cloudy sky. It's 35 degrees downtown at the Arch. Let's go to the Pentagon and Joint Chiefs Chairman General Dan Kane.
Protected and ready to respond decisively for any emerging threat. This deployment included thousands of service members from all branches, hundreds of advanced fourth and fifth generation fighters, dozens of refueling tankers, the Lincoln and Ford Carrier Strike Group and their embarked air wings, sustained flow of munitions, fuel, supplies, all supported with command and control, intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance network. And the flow of forces continues today. In fact, Admiral Cooper will receive additional forces even today. This rapid buildup of forces demonstrated the joint forces' ability to adapt and project power at the time and place of our nation's choosing. I want to highlight a couple specific cases for you. The Gerald R. Ford Carrier Strike Group, which many of you know was down in the Western Hemisphere, redeployed across the Atlantic to set the theater. The ship, her crew, their families, and the entire strike group took a deep breath, and as they always do, began planning to conduct combat operations. The integrated Reserve and National Guard forces have continued to demonstrate the value of America's reserve forces, including the Wisconsin Army National Guard operating in Kuwait and Iraq, and Air National Guard units from a variety of states to include Vermont and Virginia. In the case of the Vermont Air National Guard and the 158th Fighter Wing, they were mobilized for Operation Absolute Resolve and then were tasked to take their F-35As across the Atlantic instead of going home to be prepared to support this operation. The same is with our Air National Guard and Air Force Reserve Command tanker and mobility forces, who stepped right out of their civilian jobs to deploy. Lastly, I want to highlight the unsung heroes of warfare, our American logisticians and sustainment force, those who quietly work every day behind the scenes to project and sustain America's combat power. Our leaders from World War II were right when they said professionals do logistics. As regional tensions rose, the Joint Force elevated our force protection measures on the order of the Secretary and repositioned discreetly civilians and non-essential personnel designed to ensure the safety and security of our joint force. By the time operations began, only essential forces remained on our bases and in theater, all ready, capable to respond. So now let me move to H hour. At 3:38 p.m. on Friday, February 27th, the United States Central Command, through the Secretary of War, received the final go order from President Trump. The president directed, and I quote, "Operation Epic Fury is approved. No aborts. Good luck," close quote. In the region, every element of the joint force made their final preparations. Air defense batteries readied themselves, checking their systems to respond to Iranian attacks. Pilots and crews rehearsed their strike packages for the final time. Air crews began loading their final weapons, and 2 carrier strike groups began to move towards their launching points. Across the globe, our operations centers came alive in Tampa, Florida, here at the Pentagon, and of course forward in the Central Command AOR. As always, operational security was paramount as we sought to maintain and sustain the element of surprise. This operation was highly classified so that at H hour, the enemy would see one thing: speed, surprise, and violence of action. The first movers were U.S. Cybercom and U.S. Spacecom, layering non-kinetic effects, disrupting and degrading and blinding Iran's ability to see, communicate, and respond. At H hour, the beginning of major combat operations, 01:15 local Eastern Daylight Time, 9:45 local AM Tehran time, as dawn crept up across the Central Command AOR, the skies surged to life. More than 100 aircraft launched from land, sea, fighters, tankers, airborne early warning, electronic attack, bombers from the States, and unmanned platforms, forming a single synchronized wave. This was a daylight strike based on a trigger event conducted by the Israeli Defense Forces, enabled by the U.S. intelligence community. The first shooters at sea were Tomahawks unleashed by the United States Navy, closed in on Iranian naval forces, and began to conduct strikes across the southern flank in Iran. On the ground, forces fired precision standoff weapons, measured, deliberate, precise, and lethal. This was a massive, overwhelming attack across all domains of warfare, striking more than 1,000 targets in the first 24 hours. We are now roughly 57 hours into the operation. In the initial phase, CENTCOM's focus was systematic targeting of Iranians' command and control infrastructure, naval forces, ballistic missile sites, and intelligence infrastructure designed to daze and confuse them. Coordinated space and cyber operations effectively disrupted communications and sensor networks across the area of responsibility, leaving the adversary without the ability to see, coordinate, or respond effectively. The combined impact of these strikes, swift, precise, and overwhelming, has resulted in the establishment of local air superiority. This air superiority will not only enhance the protection of our forces, but also allow them to continue the work over Iran.
That is General Dan Kane, the Joint Chiefs Chairman at the Pentagon, giving a press briefing on the U.S. operation in Iran, saying, quote, "Our mission is to protect and defend the United States and prevent Iran from projecting power outside its borders."
It is 7:27. The time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Banner Construction is the company to call when it comes to exterior restoration. This is Tom Ackerman for Banner Construction. Online at bannerconstruction.com. They've been in business for over 30 years. So when you're looking for somebody to do new siding and windows to your home, don't go with someone who doesn't know what they're doing. Banner Construction has been doing this for a long time. They are experts when it comes to home restoration. Make your home the best looking home in the neighborhood while you're at it. They understand it may seem appealing to find a high-end solution for a below-market price, but that's cutting corners, and cutting corners can lead to devastating results. Choosing the wrong contractor can leave you with shoddy work, costly repairs, and if you choose the wrong contractor, guess what? You usually won't know until after the work starts, and by then it's too late. Don't get caught in that trap. Banner Construction will provide excellence. Make your home absolutely beautiful with new Pella windows and James Hardy siding. Online at bannerconstruction.com or call them at 314-569-1050. Banner Construction, and have a banner day.
You know, I once met a guy who said his retirement plan was winning the lottery. I said, buddy, that's not a strategy. That's a sitcom episode. I'm Gary Goldberg, and after 37 years in financial strategies, I can promise you this. Real planning works a whole lot better than lucky numbers. At Financial and Tax Strategies, I'll help you retire younger, richer, and with less anxiety. Tune in to Wealth and Wisdom with Gary Goldberg every Saturday morning at 7 here on KMOX.
Want a great way to boost your brand? Custom labels at Staples will help your packages pop, shipments stand out, and takeout boxes really take off. Shop now through April 18th and save 30% on all custom labels. Staples. That was easy.
We asked parents to share their journey of adopting teens.
They changed who I am because I can't see life without them in it.
Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Who's been talking about St. Louis sports since 1985? Bernie Nicholas.
I genuinely am excited about the start of the baseball season because this is an extraordinarily different baseball season for the St. Louis Cardinals. And not that anybody wants to rebuild, but it is going to be fascinating for me to see how this team evolves and emerges and all the stuff that Chaim Bloom does.
Bernie Nicholas. Hear what he has to say on the voice of the St. Louis Cardinals. 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 7:30, and right now it's cloudy and 35 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Roger Brands in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Tom, we still got this. I guess it's a stalled semi. It's sort of hard for me to tell, but is at the end of the ramp on lane from 44 getting on to North 270, that far right-hand lane. North 270 is bogged down as you get on from 55 all the way up to that point just north of 44. A little jam up there through 44, but then it sorts itself out and you're good to go all the way up to 64. It's impacting eastbound 44. Those right lanes are bogged down from about the Miraz overpass to 270. Eastbound 44 is also a little busy east of Big Bend through Barry. Northbound 55, of course, you've got the usual delays from about the Union Road overpass up through Virginia in pockets. Northbound Telegraph from north of Herb approaching Baumgartner up through a Pottle looks pretty backed up. If you're on westbound 64 on McCausland out to Hanley's a little heavy, and westbound 64 on the Illinois side is just backed up briefly through 159 and just a little slow after that as you cross the Poplar. Next update at 7:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It is going to be a mostly cloudy day today with a high of 46 degrees. We have a shower and thunderstorm chance with us all the way through Friday, but the temperature just starts getting warmer until we hit 62 tomorrow and Wednesday, near 70 Thursday, and then maybe close to 80 on Friday. Right now it's cloudy, 35 degrees at 7:31.
CBS News special report. Day 3 of the war with Iran, and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says the U.S. stands firm.
We didn't start this war, but under President Trump, we are finishing it.
His vow less than an hour after military officials confirmed a 4th U.S. service member has died after being wounded in Iran's initial attacks. We've also gotten confirmation all crew ejected safely when Kuwait mistakenly shot down 3 American fighter jets. The Red Crescent is reporting 555 people have been killed in Iran. Defense Secretary Hegseth says the U.S. goal is clear.
Destroy Iranian offensive missiles, destroy Iranian missile production, destroy their navy and other security infrastructure, and they will never have nuclear weapons.
Iran's security chiefs just announced the country will defend itself no matter the costs. Israel and Lebanon have been trading missile strikes for the first time in a year. Commercial air traffic throughout the Middle East is at a standstill. CBS News special report. I'm Deborah Rodriguez.
With the U.S. and Israel continuing their assault on Iran, Americans are asking what's next and how long will this last?
KMOX Democratic analyst Michael Kelly believes the country is in for a drawn-out battle in the Middle East.
I don't see this just turning into a situation where a week from now we're humming right along. I think we're going to live with the consequences of these actions for several years to come.
Kelly says he can't recall any other Middle East conflict the U.S. has been involved in that's run a short course. Republican analyst John Hancock says there's also the issue of installing a new regime in a terrorist country. It's a laudable goal, but a time-consuming one.
I don't think you're going to achieve regime change with airstrikes alone. It's never happened in the history of modern warfare.
Hancock says he hopes for a minimal loss of U.S. lives, but he's worried that the preparation for this hasn't been especially thorough, and the conflict has already expanded to 7 other Middle Eastern countries. Scott Jagow, KMOX News.
We do have a boil order advisory for Maryland Heights. It started Saturday afternoon, that order coming from Missouri American Water, saying the advisory is expected to last until about 4 this afternoon, and that affects parts of Maryland Heights, Bridgeton, and Earth City. You can use the water for bathing, washing, or other non-consumable uses, but for drinking or cooking, you should bring the water to a rolling boil for about 3 minutes.
4 seats on the Special School District's Board of Education are up for election tonight, and the vote carries new weight after a federal bombshell last week. The Justice Department found SSD violated the Americans with Disabilities Act, concluding staff routinely locked disabled students in seclusion rooms, sometimes for hours, sometimes for minor classroom behavior. The district's governing council, which picks board members rather than voters, meets tonight at 7 at SSD headquarters in Town and Country.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. 7:34, we'll get a check of your Money Minute coming up next.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I built this business the old-fashioned way. Hard work and a whole lot of spreadsheets.
Yeah, about that, I upgraded us to Odoo. Odoo puts everything we need, sales, inventory, accounting, on one connected platform. No more juggling systems, no more headaches.
So it all works together?
Exactly.
Odoo is the all-in-one business software that makes running and passing on a business easier than ever. Take your business into the next generation. Try Odoo free at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
7:35, let's check business. Sponsored by UC Bank.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. The Middle East war is rocking the markets this morning. Stocks are tumbling with Dow futures down about 500 points. S&P futures dropping 70. In the early trade, airlines like United and Delta, along with cruise companies like Carnival and Royal Caribbean, are all dropping in today's trade. Defense and energy shares like RTX and Lockheed Martin are seeing gains. Apple is preparing for a major rush to its retail stores in response to products being introduced this week. Some employees are even saying that the pre-launch planning is on par with what happens before the debut of new iPhones in the fall. Live Nation is heading to court today. The Justice Department and more than 36 states are accusing the nation's largest concert promoter of illegally monopolizing the live music industry and says it should be forced to shed its Ticketmaster business. A jury in New York federal court will hear evidence in a civil trial that could last 5 or 6 weeks. Matt Piper, Bloomberg Radio.
This is the Let's Revitalize Our Neighborhoods commitment. This is the Roll Up Our Sleeves and Pitch In commitment. This is Busey, where our commitment to strengthen our communities is a top priority. Through energetic, engaged volunteers, through monetary support, community leadership, and advocacy. Because Busey is more than a bank that does well, we're a bank that does good. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth, since 1868. Member FDIC.
Wait, Corey from Air Comfort Service? What are you doing in my basement?
Standing behind our work.
It's 9 p.m.
At Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Installation, we take pride in our work. If you need heating service, no matter the time of day or night, we're here to help with 24/7 emergency service.
So you're just going to stand behind my furnace?
Yeah, pretty much.
Can you hand me those paper towels then?
Absolutely. For heating service or HVAC maintenance, visit aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
Okay, class, let's begin.
Psst, love your boots. I just sold a pair like that on eBay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it took like 2 seconds to list and they sold almost immediately. I've been selling everything lately. Some chunky boots, a faux fur coat I never wore, and a vintage chair that was more of an expensive clothing rack.
You know, I actually bought these on eBay.
Wait, are you Kitty Sell Stuff from Brooklyn?
Okay, quiet, please.
Find what you love, sell what you don't. eBay. Things people love.
DQ presents The Spicy Menu. For a limited time, try the new Flamethrower Chicken Strip Basket for $6.99 with spicy, bold strips that heat you up. Served with a side of famous DQ soft serve as a dip to cool you down. That's right, dip those spicy chicken strips right into soft serve, plus fries and toast, all for just $6.99. And add a new pineapple lemonade sparkler or cooler made with tahini. It's the limited time only Spicy Menu. Get it delivered in the DQ app. Happy, tastes good. Participation may vary.
Hey, Cardinal Cowboy here. Who would have thought a car crash would have led to charities, TV shows, and cheering with the best fans in the world? I'm thankful for every day. And so are my friends at Renner Garage Door. They've been turning garage doors from zero to hero since 1966. With help from trusted brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, honest family-style service you can count on. So giddy up and get your free repair or replacement quote today. Giddy up!
RENNER, RENNER.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friends at Zero Res. You know, they do such a great job. Beat the spring cleaning rush and call our cleaning heroes now. This month, buy one, get one room of carpet clean for free. Unlimited rooms of carpet. Visit ZeroResSTL.com and let them know that Dave sent you.
The 46th Builders St. Louis Home and Garden Show returns to America's Center March 6th through 8th.
Bring the whole family to watch the adrenaline-pumping off-axis stunt show and the canines in the clouds frisbee dogs.
Details at stlhomeshow.com.
It's exhibition preseason baseball play today as the Cards face the Marlins. Pregame 11:55, first pitch 12:05, and you can hear the game streaming on Cardinals.com.
It is now 7:40. It's a windy, cloudy morning. Let's get you the latest on the roadways, and then we'll check the forecast. Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's definitely busier, Debbie. We're at the peak of the rush hour now. Northbound 270 bunches up in spots. North of 55 up toward Gravois. It remains slow up to about Big Bend. That earlier incident we had north of 44 is cleared. After that, it's just a little slow passing 64. Eastbound 64 between Prospect and Lake St. Louis Boulevard's a little busy. Brief slowdown at Clarkson, and then 170 to Big Bend. Westbound 64 approaching Hampton through the Big Bend area is slow, and also past Spady. If you're on eastbound Highway 70, that's looking good coming in from Wentzville. 364 is sort of slow. Bennington to 270. Eastbound 44, that's bumper-to-bumper pockets from a little west of Bowles to 270, backed up Big Bend through Berry Road, and then it sorts itself out. Northbound 55 delays. Union Road overpass in pockets up through Virginia. Westbound 64 downtown is slow on the Poplar, and 64 also has delays both sides of 159 as you get through that construction zone. Next update at 7:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zare, when you say rain this week, is that like steady or is it off and on? What are we looking at?
It's going to be off and on. We're not going to look, I think, at just a steady several days of rain, but there is going to be a period, and I think that this is probably going to begin, say, during the morning hours tomorrow and run into tomorrow afternoon, where there is going to be a little bit of a steadier period, but then on and off for the rest of tomorrow, late tomorrow and tomorrow night and into Wednesday, and then even Thursday and Friday. It's more of a showery kind of situation with some thunder in there as well. Here for this morning, we have been watching the last of this rain winding down. We've got a few last little lingering showers or a bit of drizzle off to the south of the city. For the most part, though, at this point, it is just cloudy. And now for the rest of the day, we're going to keep on the cloudy side and rather chilly as well, with a high of 46. Tonight, a low of 40. Rain comes back into the area late at night, and we'll continue to have rain at times and a thunderstorm for tomorrow and Wednesday. Despite that, it's warming up to a high of 62. And then we'll continue to have some showers and a thunderstorm Thursday and Friday, heading up to near 70 on Thursday. And we could have our first 80-degree reading of the year on Friday. 35 in St. Peter's right now, 34 in Florissant, 37 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zare on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is now 7:42. It happened again. Another kid gets stuck in the claw machine in Webster Groves, according to KMOV. This time it was 3-year-old Patrick Campbell who climbed into the claw machine at Veta Soccer Dome.
The same one?
Yeah, the same machine.
Wow.
It has a really big, if you've
seen it.
I've seen it. Yeah, I've done a lot of indoor soccer games there. It's a big claw machine, but it has a big door to get your stuffed animal out of, because sometimes they have these big balls that you could win as prizes. So it's larger than normal. Yeah. So his dad was able to coax him out. So I guess he didn't get stuck like the last kid, because 2 weeks ago, a 2-year-old at the same place in the same machine was actually inside the machine, and they had to get a emergency key to let him out.
I guess it's scary for the parents, but for the kid, they're like, hey, all right.
Hey, here I am inside with all the toys.
Well, this one is not so funny. A popular Soulard bar and restaurant is lamenting yet another smash-in. Hammerstones at 9th and Russell was hit early Saturday morning. The suspect or suspects didn't steal anything, but they did leave a bill to pay, breaking windows and damaging the front door. The bar's owner says they've been hit 6 times. On social media, he called for city officials to start taking action to protect businesses and the community.
St. Charles is making a push for better transparency during city construction projects. Director of Engineering Dan Mann says a recent survey found that while residents expect work that stands up, they also value knowing what those orange cones down the street are for.
We said, what do you consider the most important thing on a construction project? And the top answer that we got back was the quality of the construction. That makes sense. But a very close second to that was communication.
St. Charles City is now using an interactive tool that tracks everything from sewer relief work to new road design to keep neighbors in the loop.
Well, the new NCAA men's basketball net rankings are out. SLU is 24th in the latest rankings coming out of the Atlantic 10. They are the number 1 team, and with a win on Wednesday against Loyola, they will be the number 1 seed in the tournament. Illinois is 5th in the net. They are in great shape for the NCAA tournament. Even with their home loss to Michigan, they are in very good shape. Just their seeding for the NCAA tournament is still in question. If they were looking for a 2 or maybe trying to get to St. Louis, that one got hit just a little bit, but we'll see how they finish out. Missouri is 53rd in the net, but they're in very good shape right now. They have 10 SEC wins. They're 20-9 overall. They look to be in decent shape. The new NCAA net rankings mean that Arch Madness is set. The Valley was waiting to see that ranking before they officially seeded their teams. Here's how it looks for the Missouri Valley Conference men's basketball tournament at Enterprise Center starting this Thursday. The first game will be at 3:30 on Thursday afternoon, Southern Illinois against Drake. 6 o'clock, Valparaiso and Indiana State, the 7-10 game. Following that 8-9 game, the Salukis and the Bulldogs. And the final game of the night will be the 6-11 game, Northern Iowa against Evansville. That'll be at 8:30. On Friday, 4 quarterfinal games. Belmont, the number 1 seed, will play at noon against the winner of SIU and Drake. Murray State, the 4 seed, will play the 5 UIC at 2:30 on Friday. 6 o'clock tip for the number 2 seed Bradley against the winner of Valpo and Indiana State. And the nightcap on Friday will be the 3 seed Illinois State playing the winner of UNI and Evansville. 2 semifinal games on Saturday and the championship on Sunday, which tips off at 11 a.m. on CBS. Now we turn our attention to baseball, and Ollie Marmol, the Cardinals manager, received a contract extension yesterday, officially announced by the Cardinals, and it's a 2-year extension that will start next year, run through 28 with a club option for 2029. With analysis, here's KMOX's Bernie Miklas.
The DeWitts went to Chaim Bloom and they said, look, you're taking this thing over and you deserve to bring in whoever you feel you have to bring in. And that includes the manager. And Chaim Bloom said, oh, no. I've been observing him for 2 years, and I'm really impressed with he's been able to squeeze out of a team that's got some serious challenges, and we work well together. No, I want to keep Ollie. So I think there's a lot here. I don't have time today with you to talk about it because you don't have enough time. But Ollie Marmol, given the circumstances that he's been put in, has actually done a good job. And now I'm not claiming he's done a perfect job. I've criticized Ollie. But if you the decline, the collapse of the farm system, how they were not producing enough major league starting pitching. A lot of their position players came to the major leagues as rookies or young players and weren't really properly taught in the minor leagues. And you also had a situation where he became the manager at a time where the Cardinals were about to start to slash payroll. And he was working for John Mozeliak. And my point is not to take cheap shots at John Mozeliak, but we all knew that the Cardinals really started to unravel in Mo's, final seasons. So as I'm always confused by people who somehow believe this was Ollie Marmol's fault. I mean,
This is Bernie Miklasz and the full conversation on sports on a Sunday morning on KMOX, our podcast at KMOX.com. Cardinals play the Pirates yesterday and lost 6-1. Marlins today at 12:05 at Cardinals.com. City lost last night at San Diego 2-0. Blues won at Minnesota 3-1. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Cardinals and Billikens, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
When it comes to planning your retirement, there's a lot to think about. Portfolio management, tax planning, and retirement income just to get started. Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group focus on those things and more. Their goal is to help you achieve your goals. Call 636-230-8824 or online, yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve All, NPN number 153-07419.
Here in St. Louis, we take pride in supporting our health and our community. That's why more and more families are turning to Neovitin multivitamins, created by a local physician and made right here in the U.S. using the highest quality domestic and international ingredients. With formulas for men, women, and adults 50 plus, Neovitin helps keep St. Louis families energized, supported, and ready for life. Find Neovitin at your local Deerbergs, Schnucks, and online at neovitin.com. Neovitin. Trusted nutrition from St. Louis for St. Louis.
Being first in line can be very important to homeowners. First in line for the plumber, first in line for the HVAC guy, first at Banner Construction. It's Banner Construction's winter home event, and you can be the first in line this spring and save before the annual price increases. Banner Construction is a James Hardy and Pella replacement windows specialist, and now is the best time to schedule a free in-home consultation with no obligation. Call 314-569-1050. Or check them out on the web at bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
St. Louis, get ready. One of the most powerful voices in country music is coming to the Dome at America Center on March 7th. Zach Bryan, live in concert.
It'll be fun about those clouds, I'm telling you, baby.
With the songs you know by heart.
You can see now.
One night, one stage, an unforgettable night of raw, honest music. Tickets available now at Ticketmaster.com. For more information, KMOX.com/events.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
7:51, and here is Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, police just pulled up with a minor crash. They're blocking the right lane now, southbound 170. It's the right lane, which is the Brentwood Eager exit lane, the right lane of those two lanes. So I'll just be prepared. Traffic's a little backed up. It's really just kind of slow from the Parkway down to it. It isn't all that bad right now. If you're on eastbound Highway 64, you look great out west. It's still kind of slow from Clarkson to Timberlake, from 270 through Ballas, and then right through the Interbelt. Westbound 64 approaching Hampton to Big Bend's heavy, and then it's slow again from Lindbergh out to almost Ballas. Southbound 270, Olive to Ladou's heavy. North 270 backs up north of 55 to Tesson Ferry, slow up through Gravois, and then 44 all the way up to Ladou's kind of busy. Eastbound 44, 141 up through Bowles is heavy. There's stuff from Lindbergh in through Berry Road almost to Elm. Northbound 55 at Jam coming up through Bayless, and that goes all the way up through Virginia. Westbound 64 still delays through the 159 area as well. Next update is 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Weather-wise, we're looking at a cloudy day today and chilly with a high of 46 degrees. Overcast, a bit of rain tonight, low 40. Tomorrow we get up to 62 with a chance of rain. Same with Wednesday. Thursday's high 70 and Friday's high 80 each day with a threat of a thunderstorm. Currently, it's 38 and cloudy downtown at the Arch.
It is 7:52. Franklin County residents gathering for a town hall Sunday to hear about data centers. Experts on water usage, utility strain, and avenues for legal recourse were at that meeting talking. This comes on the heels of weeks of heated discussion and opposition from hundreds of Franklin County residents on 2 proposed data center sites in southeastern Franklin County.
These sites, now rural farmland, are seeking rezoning and then sale to large developers wanting to install 2 data center complexes around the city of Pacific and Gray Summit. One proposed site, Diamond Farms, shares a boundary with the Missouri Botanical Gardens Shaw Nature Reserve.
Missouri is rolling out a verification program to help consumers identify licensed marijuana dispensaries amid a surge of unlicensed hemp shops selling chemically altered products. The state's health department says one of the biggest selling points of a licensed dispensary is something most shoppers probably never consider: what's actually been done to test the product before it hits the shelves.
Amy Moore is Missouri's Director of Cannabis Regulation.
We're testing for potency. We're testing for the cannabinoids so that you can know exactly what's in there. And then we also review and approve packaging so that the packaging is transparent and true. You can be assured that what you're looking at on that packaging is what is inside the packaging.
The Verified Dispensary Initiative launches as Missouri's Attorney General has separately taken enforcement action against unlicensed businesses selling unregulated cannabis products.
Glen Carbon is planning a new multi-billion-dollar entertainment and retail development district using a new sales tax incentive from the state. The Glen Carbon Board of Trustees last week approved the district's boundaries, more than 1,500 acres, by the 270-255 interchange, which requires state approval.
According to the Business Journal, the project could include retail, hotels, athletic facilities, upscale apartments, commercial development, even waterfront recreation, and a concert venue. One major goal of the project is keeping Metro East residents shopping in Illinois instead of crossing the river into Missouri.
The Papa John's near you may be closing. The company is planning to shut down about 300 underperforming stores across North America by the end of 2027. The chain has 37 locations in the St. Louis region, about 6,000 locations around the world. Papa John's sales are down about 5% for the fourth quarter, according to the Business Journal.
It's 7:55.
Total Information AM. Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman on 104.1 FM KMOX.
McKelvey Homes, located all over St. Louis County, St. Charles County. You have O'Fallon, Strawberry Farms is there. You have Wildwood, the reserve at Wildwood. You have Cottleville Trails. Just so many great locations for McKelvey Homes. Why do so many people now go with McKelvey? Why do they move up to McKelvey? Because McKelvey Homes, for one, is the most experienced in all of St. Louis. They are Missouri's oldest home builder, going back to 1898. That's 128 years of excellence going back to 1898. They have what's called the 1898 sale with quick move-in homes available right now all over. I'm looking at them right here, McKelveyhomes.com. You can see Cottleville Trails. They've slashed prices on a couple of those, and you scroll down to Summerlin, that community with different floor plans and 3-car garages, beautiful homes that are built and new and ready for you to move in right away. Wildwood, wow, look at this one. Oh my goodness. 16641 Wycliffe Place Drive in Wildwood. Gorgeous house. Preservation Parkway in Afton. Don't forget about that. There are many great ones throughout the St. Louis area. All you have to do is go online. Jim Brennan, the president of McKelvey Homes, has an outstanding team and an outstanding website. This is a limited time 1898 savings celebrating 128 years of home building. McKelvey Homes, building a tradition of excellence since 1898. McKelveyhomes.com.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
Hola amigos, Brad Evans here. Check out this booming voice and Pat Boyle on BetMGM tonight, covering the biggest sports stories from coast to coast, live and interactive on the free Odyssey app, discussing NFL offseason news and getting you ready for the madness in college hoops. BetMGM tonight with me, Brad Evans and Pat Boyle, live and interactive, Monday through Friday night starting at 6 Eastern, presented by BetMGM. Always live on the free Odyssey app and watch on YouTube at BetMGM tonight.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
I'm Dave Glover, and I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Dr. Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. You can too. Just go to youridoc.com.
Hear me out on this. Let's say, for the sake of argument, you do have a wife or a significant other.
Yeah.
They're just a huge problem in your life. And then you win a giant jackpot.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you feel like this is your opportunity to just leave town?
You're not going to file papers because now you're going to be legally bound to this lady.
That's what you get the lawyer for.
You're not even married and you're fantasizing about leaving your wife.
The Chris and Amy Show, weekdays starting at 9 on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
At 7:59, let's check in with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we're still dealing with this minor crash, Debbie, on southbound 170. It's at the Brentwood Eager exit. It's the right lane of the exit that's blocked. South 170 is backed up between the Parkway and Brentwood. A pretty solid jam running through there right now. We also have an incident westbound 64. Can't tell if it's a stall or crash just before Lindbergh, so traffic's backing up about midway back to McKnight westbound 64, and it's also slow from Hampton all the way to Hanley on westbound 64 as well. If you're on northbound 270, there's still slow traffic both sides of Gravois, 44 all the way up to Ladue, still busy, 44 east of 141 up through Miraz, and from east of Lindbergh all the way into Elm and North 55, Union Road overpass up through Virginia is heavy. Next update at 8:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We have cloudy sky, 38 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Tom Ackerman. U.S.-Israeli military action in Iran enters its third day. What does it mean for the Middle East and the world? Megan Lynch will get insight from an international relations expert after the news.
Missouri is giving licensed marijuana dispensaries a verified check mark. Michael Calhoun will tell us why.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zaire. We're going to dry out today, but it's going to stay rather cloudy and chilly, high 46.
I'll be back at noon for the Gas House Gang. It's 8 o'clock.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. 2 days into the war, and the Pentagon's declared U.S. forces have achieved air superiority over Iran. It comes at a price. General Dan Kane confirms a fourth U.S. soldier died today of injuries sustained in Saturday's attack.
We expect to take additional losses, and as always, we will work to minimize U.S. losses.
Asked about the administration's decision to attack, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said,
"This is not a so-called regime change war, but the regime sure did change, and the world is better off for it."
Hegseth is not ruling out troops on the ground in Iran.
Iran has an ability to project power against us and our allies in ways that we can't tolerate. So whether that's ballistic missiles and drones, so offensive capabilities, effectively their Navy, which would attempt to set other terms and impose different costs.
The Red Crescent reports 555 people have died in Iran. State TV says the Ayatollah's wife was among them. The war is widening. Sirens sounding as Israel and Lebanon target each other for the first time in a year. The BBC's Yolande Nell is in Jerusalem.
The Lebanese armed group said it launched missiles and drones at the Israeli city of Haifa in retaliation for the killing of Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei. Israel's military responded with strikes on Hezbollah's strongholds in southern Beirut and told people in more than 50 villages in southern Lebanon to leave.
The U.S. confirms Kuwait accidentally shot down 3 American fighter jets, all 6 crew members ejected safely. Oil prices are spiking this morning. CBS's Kelly O'Grady predicts other costs will follow.
It's not just about gas prices. How does everything that we get to us? It's on trucks. And when oil prices go up, so do diesel prices. So there are so many different secondary effects.
There are protests across this country. Carla Reyes in New York City.
People in Iran have the right to determine for themselves their own future. And it's not up to us to meddle in the affairs of other countries.
Members of Los Angeles Iranian community cheered the Ayatollah's deaths in the streets of Westwood. The Supreme Court hears arguments today on whether people who use illegal drugs can be barred from owning guns. Legal analyst Thane Rosenbaum.
The government here is arguing that there has always been laws restricting gun access to habitual drunkards. 43 states, in fact, have laws restricting gun access to drug addicts.
Dow futures are down 514. S&P futures off 72. NAS futures down 331. This is CBS News.
Every Sunday, moderator Margaret Brennan goes face-to-face with top leaders to make you better informed. Face the Nation, Sunday on CBS and streaming on Paramount.
At 8:03, we have cloudy skies, 35 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Monday, March 2nd. I'm Megan Lynch. With U.S. and Israel continuing their assault on Iran, Americans are asking what's next and how long will it last?
KMOX Democratic analyst Michael Kelly believes the country is in for a drawn-out battle in the Middle East.
I don't see this just turning into a situation where a week from now we're humming right along. I think we're going to live with the consequences of these actions for several years to come.
Kelly says he can't recall any other Middle East conflict the U.S. has been involved in that's run a short course. Republican analyst John Hancock says there's also the issue of installing a new regime in a terrorist country. It's a laudable goal, but a time-consuming one.
I don't think you're going to achieve regime change with airstrikes alone. It's never happened in the history of modern warfare.
Hancock says he hopes for a minimal loss of U.S. lives, but he's worried that the preparation for this hasn't been especially thorough, and the conflict has already expanded to 7 other Middle Eastern countries. Scott Jagow, KMOX News.
Saturday night, Missouri once again playing a critical role in the Middle East. The B-2 stealth armed with 2,000 bombs hit Iran's hardened ballistic missile facilities. The B-2 stealth bomber also took part in the first raid on Iran. A St. Louis native making some enemies in Silicon Valley. Michael Calhoun explains.
Administration blacklisted AI company Anthropic, clearing the way for Burroughs grad and OpenAI CEO Sam Altman's ChatGPT to move in. The internet had other ideas. Anthropic's assistant Claude jumped to #1 in the U.S. App Store downloads on Saturday, knocking ChatGPT out of the top spot. The backlash stems from the deal that Altman struck with the Pentagon, the same deal that Anthropic refused over objections to using AI for mass surveillance and autonomous weapons. But the twist is the Pentagon ultimately gave OpenAI the same restrictions that Anthropic had demanded all along.
The Special School District of St. Louis County faces its first public meeting tonight since the feds found the district violated the Americans with Disabilities Act. The Justice Department released findings last week, concluding the district secluded more than 300 students nearly 4,000 times, sometimes for minor infractions such as knocking over a teacher's coffee. The district's 22-member governing council is appointed by member school districts and meets quarterly. At tonight's meeting in Town and Country, those members also set to elect new members to the district's Board of Education. St. Charles making a push for better transparency during city construction projects. Director of Engineering Dan Mann says a recent survey found that while residents expect work that stands up, they also value knowing what those orange cones down the street are for.
We said, what do you consider the most important thing on a construction project? And the top answer that we got back was the quality of the construction. That makes sense. But a very close second to that was communication.
St. Charles City now using an interactive tool which tracks everything from sewer relief work to new road design to keep neighbors in the loop. From the KMOX business desk, Glenn Carbon planning a new multi-billion-dollar entertainment and retail development using a new sales tax incentive from the state. The Glenn Carbon Board of Trustees last week approved the district's boundaries, more than 1,500 acres, by the 270-255 interchange. That requires state approval. The Business Journal reports the project could include retail, hotels, athletic facilities, upscale apartments, commercial development, and even waterfront recreation or a concert venue. One major goal of the project, to keep Metro East residents shopping in Illinois instead of crossing the river into Missouri. Still ahead on Total Information this hour, I'm going to be joined by an international relations expert at Webster University to talk about possible repercussions of those U.S.-Israeli airstrikes on Iran. We'll get the latest from CBS News as well. And then a little bit later in the hour, CNET Consumer Insights editor Daisha Milden is going to join me. Nearly 70% of U.S. adults say just one tech glitch derails their lives. I can relate. So we'll hear more about that coming up this morning at 8:41. It's 8:08, traffic and weather in 2 minutes.
If you owe back taxes, listen carefully to rule number 1. Never go up against the IRS alone. They're cracking down, freezing bank accounts, garnishing paychecks, canceling passports. Even your home or business could be at risk. But here's what they don't tell you. The IRS has powerful tax relief programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. That's why smart people call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. Nobody knows these programs like the experts at Optima. Their team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $2 billion in tax debt for people just like you. The IRS is not stopping, so don't wait and don't take them on alone. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, call Optima today for a free consultation.
Call 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Is your home, business, or church looking tired, chalky, or in need of curb appeal? Go Rhino. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino. Our unique 3M ceramic technology is perfect for brick, stucco, aluminum, steel, color lock masonite, and more. It's backed by our 25-year transferable warranty to not chip, crack, or peel. Great if you're staying, and even better if you're selling. Our ceramic coating allows you to maintain all of your architectural features. The decision to do vinyl will leave your home looking like a plastic moldy box. With Rhino Shield, in 15 years, your home will still have that, wow, it looks like you just got it painted. We've done large condo complexes, parking garages, pole barns, and commercial strip malls. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. Evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't vinyl, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
8:10, this is Total Information AM. Let's check the roads now with Roger Brand. He's in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, they're still working on the crash I talked about at the top of the hour on westbound 64. First of all, you've got heavy traffic from Hampton headed out to about Big Bend, and then it's slow again all the way to Hanley. It jams from McKnight, so it opens up between 170 and McKnight, but it jams at McKnight all the way out to this crash, westbound 64, that's blocking the left lane just before you get to Lindbergh. If you're on eastbound 64, you're slow from Ballas up through that Lindbergh area. It sort of backs up briefly past the crash scene, and then it's still slow east of there all the way into Big Bend. South 170, the Parkway down to 64, you've got delays. That right lane's blocked at the Brentwood Eager exit by a minor crash. Northbound 270 backs up through 44. Then it's slow approaching Big Bend all the way up to Ladue. Northbound 55 just bogged down from Bayless up to about Virginia. 44 looks better, a little busy at Elm and around the Laclede Station approaching Hampton. There's a few slow spots there. On the Illinois side, westbound 64 heavy right through 159. Next update at 8:20 from the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
The last of the rain south of the city moves away early. We'll stay rather cloudy and chilly, though, today with a high of 46. And a bit of rain comes back into the area late tonight. Otherwise, it'll be cloudy and not as cold with a low near 40. We'll have occasional rain and a thunderstorm tomorrow and Wednesday. Cloudy and warmer, though, with a high of 62 both days. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zaire on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Currently, we have cloudy skies, 36 degrees in Florissant, 35 in St. Peters, 35 downtown at the Arch. Thanks for listening to Total Information AM on this Monday morning. I'm Megan Lynch, and as you heard on CBS News, Iran's supreme leader was killed in U.S.-Israeli strikes Saturday. Now that conflict has widened. Iran and allied militias have fired back against Israel and U.S. targets. in the Gulf region, including the U.S. Embassy compound in Kuwait. I'm joined now by Webster University International Relations Professor Danny Bello. Danny, thank you so much for your time this morning here on KMOX.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
So right now, we heard a briefing earlier this morning from the Pete Hegseth and the chair of the Joint Chiefs. What does it appear the objectives of this strike on Iran were from the U.S. perspective?
Well, the key message that we've received from both the U.S. objectives and the Israeli objective, which seem to overlap substantially, and they're focusing on making Iran a benign power and considering the threats that have emanated from the regime.
Was the threat from Iran enough to trigger this response?
Well, we know that Iran behaved quite erratically, not just in relation to the outside world and the democratic world, but also towards its own people. So considering both of these factors, it seems that the reason to go to war can be justified.
So what happens when there's a leadership vacuum in a country like Iran? Who could take over there at this point?
Well, right now, it seems that the regime that's been in place since 1979 is still holding up. And if that regime becomes less stable, then there are many factions that could take power and potentially leading to severe and even violent clashes between them.
That's what I was going to ask next. How could this destabilize not only Iran, but the region?
Well, internally, we know that there are many factions that could potentially take power. And again, the highest risk is that this will become violent internally. For the broader region and the rest of the world, we know that Iran poses a significant threat to oil shipments regionally, and we are already seeing that reflected in the market and potentially at the gas pump.
Yeah, we're already seeing it at the gas pump. I had someone just report to me that gas prices in the Metro East are up almost 50 cents overnight. When it comes to relationships in the region, how could this impact U.S. relationships with other Middle East nations?
Well, it depends on what the United States is going to be doing vis-a-vis the countries that are currently being attacked by Iran. And again, Iran has positioned itself in a situation where it's really self-destructing geopolitically. And this is an opportunity for the United States to form closer relationships with countries that have previously been skeptical of U.S. role. So the United States can treat this as a real opportunity.
So we have seen strikes in some other countries on airports, and we've seen strikes on a U.S. embassy. What are those nations saying at this point their response is going to be?
Well, we know that Saudi Arabia and other Gulf Peninsula countries such as Qatar, Bahrain, and the UAE are currently forming a coalition, and it is very likely that they're pulling the resources together to have some sort of response. Again, we've heard from a number of representatives of the Gulf state countries that they are willing to put all options on the table.
There were some reports that there was some friction with the UK over U.S. use of one of their air bases to launch from. And when we look at situations like that, how could this strain U.S. relations with some of our European allies?
Well, we have to keep in mind that Iran's missiles can reach Europe at this point. And we know that over the past 24 hours, Iran's missiles have hit a UK base. And after that, the United Kingdom has taken a more decisive position that's aligned with Israel and the United States. So there may be an overall shift in perception by the European allies.
I'm speaking with Danny Bello, Webster University International Relations Professor. Is there any chance for diplomacy? Or how soon could that happen with Iran?
Well, it depends on how the operations go. So the next week or so is going to be critical in order to determine if there's an opportunity for diplomacy and where that diplomacy can take us.
When it comes to response here on U.S. soil, as far as, citizens, what does the Trump administration have to consider?
The U.S. administration should absolutely consider the impact on the domestic economy. We know that the United States, just as many other countries in the world, run on oil and energy resources, and these are currently severely threatened because we know that Iran attacked a number of oil tankers, and again, that will result in increases in energy supply prices, and that will impact, in turn, the overall economy.
Now, we did see pretty immediate response by Hezbollah striking in Israel, and that's prompted a corresponding response from Israel into Lebanon. Should we worry at all about any strikes on U.S. soil by groups that might be sympathetic to Iran?
Well, we know that Iran has quite a few sympathizers across the world. Again, we've heard that after the death of the Ayatollah Khamenei, we've heard those sympathies coming to light. And absolutely, we should be aware of what's happening outside of the region, because the region is the focal point of interethnic and geopolitical conflict.
What else will you be watching for in the coming days?
Well, ultimately, in the coming days, we have to see the impact on the oil supply, because this will have, again, the most direct impact on us here in the U.S. And also more broadly, what is going to be the culmination of that operation, whether it will lead to a diplomatic resolution that's acceptable to everyone.
Danny, thank you so much. Really appreciate your time here on KMOX this morning.
Thank you very much.
That is Webster University International Relations Professor Danny Bello joining us this morning here on KMOX. Coming up, we're going to get the latest on what's happening in Iran from CBS News. Also, we're going to look at how tech glitches can derail our lives. CNET Consumer Insights editor Daisha Milden is going to join me at 8:41. And then at 8:51, Michael Calhoun is going to talk about how Missouri is giving licensed marijuana dispensaries a verified check mark. It's so that consumers can tell them apart from some of the unverified hemp shops that have been popping up around the area. So make sure you stay with us. Let's get a check now of the roads. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We still got these couple of crashes out there, Megan. Westbound 64 is still backed up from Hampton, headed out to about Big Bend, slow to Hanley, and then it backs up again, approaching McKnight all the way out to this crash in the left lane before you get to Lindbergh. And South 170, the right lane's still blocked. They're just about wrapping it up, though. That's the right lane at the Brentwood Eager exit. It does look like they're pulling away now, so they are clearing that one. South 170 is only backed up at the Parkway. Eastbound 64, slow east of Mason to 270 and east of Ballas through that Lindbergh area. And then one more time, of course, the inner belt into Big Bend. Northbound 270, you've got heavy traffic backing up right at 44, and then it's slow all the way up to Ladue. Northbound 55, Bayless up through Virginia is heavy. Westbound 70 from the Musel Veterans to the McKinley Bridge is also slow. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And checking that forecast for today, it looks like we are going to have cloudy skies. It's going to be chilly, a high of 46 degrees. Overcast tonight, not as cold with some rain late. We're looking for an overnight low around 40. Right now, cloudy, 35 downtown at the Arch.
Sponsored by Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty 314-325-6888.
Need to sell your home and you want the most money? The name to remember is Gloria Lou. Yes, Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty at 314-325-6888 and start packing.
Sometimes it feels like home improvement projects are a full-time job, making the phone calls, getting people to come to the house, getting the estimate, staying on top of it, getting people to even call you back, let alone know if they're going to do a quality job. If you're going through that right now, I hear you. So if you're looking for something in your outdoor space, you can trust the folks at Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Chesterfield Fence and Deck is the sign you have the very best. They've been at it for 58 years. They're a third-generation, family-owned, local company that stands behind everything they do. And whether you are looking for a fence, a gate, a deck, a pergola, a sunroom, a screen room, a patio, doesn't matter. They'll do a great job from a small basic project to the most extensive. They do free in-home estimates. They do free project design, or feel free to stop by their beautiful showroom in the Chesterfield Valley to get a really good idea of what things could look like in your backyard space. Mention me, Debbie Monterrey. Get 48 months interest-free financing, chesterfieldfence.com.
Larry Elder here. Let me share Brian's story from Alabama, my mom's home state. He tells us after taking Relief Factor for just 3 weeks, at least 90% of my pain is gone. My pain has started to limit me at work and at home, and now I'm amazed at how much relief I've gotten, end of quote. These are Brian's own words, and they speak volumes about what Relief Factor can do for you. I've told you about my buddy Tom, an avid golfer out on the green almost every single day. He says without Relief Factor, he wouldn't be able to swing freely because of shoulder pain or back pain. But since taking it, he said he stayed active, comfortable, and confident in his swing. He is a scratch golfer. That's why I encourage you to try Relief Factor yourself and see what it can do for you. Don't wait. If you're dealing with daily pain, launch your 3-week quick start and see what Relief Factor can do for you. 800-4RELIEF, 800 the number 4RELIEF, or go to relieffactor.com. That's relieffactor.com. How will it feel to be out of pain? 800-4RELIEF, relieffactor.com.
Start the new year off on a healthier note by taking active liver supplements from New Nordic every day. Available online at Amazon or newnordicusa.com or at your local CVS, ShopRite, Meijer Grocery, or Wegmans.
You're back with Total Information AM here on KMOX, and we continue our coverage this morning on day 3 of U.S. military action in Iran. For some perspective on that military conflict, our Odyssey sister station KNX spoke with Asha Castleberry-Hernandez. She served as a senior advisor on Middle East policy in the U.S. State Department for the Biden administration. She was asked about President Trump's message to the Iranian people, who he essentially said, now's your chance, take control of your government.
Is extremely difficult because of the decentralization, the multiple factions and political groups that are within the system, or the religious factions too. So that's why I said it's going to be quite difficult for them to identify who would be the next supreme leader, and also identify other critical leadership. So prior to the strikes, the Iran was pretty much going through a lot in terms of political instability, as you saw that the people were pretty much not too happy about the government. In fact, there was multiple protests that were happening. So, and by the way, I just want to mention too, that's another reason, if I didn't say it, that why President Trump decided to go into Iran is because he wanted to win the hearts and minds of the Iranian people as well. But going back to your question, yes, I do. I believe it could happen, but I think it's going to be definitely a very difficult approach for the Iranian people because of the level of decentralization, and there's not necessarily this one group that really can consolidate all that power in there to bring everybody back to course. So it's going to take some time, in my opinion.
Odyssey also asked whether she thinks the next government may continue to be a theocracy.
Yes, possibility. Yes, but more renewed, where I do believe in the long run, Iran has interest in opening up more to the international community, wants to build out more relationships. In fact, wants to even have a relationship with the United States. I think that there's a thirst for being more forward-leaning, more progressive in terms of their foreign policy. And in doing so, they have to make sure they have a system in place that's more democratic, that's more inclusive in terms of consolidated power, and in order to have some sort of a progressive foreign policy.
President Trump has said he thinks the conflict may last at least 4 weeks. Odyssey asked what she thinks will happen in that time frame.
The Iranian armed forces can't necessarily take on an enduring mission. They eventually surrender or stop because they just don't have the long-standing or the might to really take on a tit for tat between United States, Israel versus them. And I've seen this pattern several times within the last several years. In fact, that's why you have these 7-day wars or 12-day wars, because of the fact that Iran can't handle or hold on to be very engaged in a long-standing war against the United States or Israel.
That is National Security and Foreign Affairs expert Asha Castleberry-Hernandez. Again, she served as senior advisor on Middle East policy during the Biden administration. Coming up on Total Information AM, we are scheduled to go to the Middle East. CBS News reporter Linda Gradstein is expected to join us from Jerusalem at the bottom of the hour. It's now 8:26. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Experience music, magic, story, and wonder with the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra in Scheherazade, Magic and Myth. Feel bold energy and haunting beauty as violinist Leila Josefowitz performs Alban Berg's deeply moving Violin Concerto. Then be swept away by Scheherazade. Saturday, March 14th and Sunday, March 15th at Powell Hall at the Jack C. Taylor Music Center. Tickets at slso.org.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
What if every time you spent money, you saved money too? With Achieve It Checking from Together Credit Union, you can do just that. Every debit card purchase is rounded up to the nearest dollar, and the spare change goes right into your savings. And here's the best part. Together Credit Union boosts your progress by matching qualifying savings up to $8 a month. It's a free checking account that helps you achieve more automatically. Learn more, or better yet, enroll today at togethercu.org. Together Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
The 46th Builder St. Louis Home and Garden Show, presented by James Hardy, is back.
This St. Louis tradition returns to America's Center March 6th through 8th.
Shop hundreds of local companies for home improvement deals.
Find ideas, inspiration, and expert advice.
Bring the whole family to watch the adrenaline-pumping off-axis stunt show and the canines in the clouds frisbee dogs.
The Home and Garden Show is back at America's Center March 6th through 8th.
Details at stlhomeshow.com.
8:30, time for another check of your ride into work with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still got our issue on westbound 64, Megan. Westbound 64 before Lindbergh, we have a crash blocking the left lane. So westbound 64 is heavy at Hampton. There's stop-and-go stuff from Clayton Skinker to about Big Bend out toward Hanley. It opens up a little bit past the Interbelt, but then it jams before you get to McKnight again out to the crash before Lindbergh with the left lane blocked. Eastbound 64 Gawkers are bogged down from east of Ballas up to Lindbergh and then McKnight to Big Bend. South 170 to south of Brentwood, you've got delays. Northbound 270 north of 44 all the way to Ladue, still pretty slow. 55, a couple of spots. Weber to River to Pear, Loughborough to Holly Hills, a little busy. Eastbound 44 from the Poplar out onto 70 almost to the McKinley Bridge is kind of slow right now as well. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
From the Salida Heating and Cooling Weather Center, it looks like we're going to have cloudy skies today. It will be chilly. We're expecting a high around 46 degrees. Overcast tonight, not as cold. A bit of rain late with an overnight low of 40. Right now, cloudy skies, 35 degrees downtown at the Arch. It appears that war is widening in the Middle East as Israeli and U.S. strikes continue. Let's go to Jerusalem now. CBS News reporter Linda Gradstein joining us. Linda, thanks for your time this morning.
Yes, correct.
Good morning, Linda.
Sure.
Good morning, Linda. You're on KMOX. All right, we'll take a break. We'll check back in with Linda in just a moment.
Almost immediately. I've been selling everything lately. Some chunky boots, a faux fur coat I never wore, and a vintage chair that was more of an expensive clothing rack.
You know, I actually bought these on eBay. Wait, are you Kitty Sell Stuff from Brooklyn?
Okay, quiet please.
Find what you love, sell what you don't. eBay.
Things people love.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
We're going to get back to Jerusalem and Linda Gradstein in just a moment. First, your money report, sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Bloomberg's Matt Piper.
Stocks tumbled and oil prices jumped as the eruption of war between the U.S. and Iran rattled global markets. Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ futures all down more than 1% ahead of the opening bell on Wall Street. The co-CEO of Netflix is explaining why they dropped out of the fight to take over Warner Brothers. It was made based on various bidding scenarios Netflix had worked out in advance, and co-CEO Ted Sarandos says they knew exactly what to do when they received notice of the superior offer. Sarandos believes the Paramount deal will lead to cost-cutting, including $16 billion in cuts and thousands of job eliminations. And he says Netflix will continue to invest in its business and find new ways to work with theater owners. Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings expects full-year net yields to be little changed due to the execution missteps in its commercial and deployment strategy. Bookings, too, are lacking, shares falling as much as 7.8% in pre-market trading. Matt Piper, Bloomberg Radio.
It's now 8:34. This is Total Information AM on KMOX. And let's go back to Jerusalem now. CBS News reporter Linda Gradstein is going to update us with the latest on the U.S.-Israeli military action against Iran. Good morning, Linda. Linda, can you hear us? All right, we'll have to try to check back in with Linda in just a moment.
Hey, Cardinal Cowboy here. Who would have thought a car crash would have led to charities, TV shows, and cheering with the best fans in the world? I'm thankful for every day. And so are my friends at Renner Garage Door. They've been turning garage doors from zero to hero since 1966. With help from trusted brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, honest family-style service you can count on. So giddy up and get your free repair or replacement quote today. Giddy up!
R-E-N-N-E-R, R-E-N-N-E-R. Res. This is the perfect time to clean your air ducts as you deal with allergy season, furnace and air conditioning efficiency, post, winter, and more. This month, get a free size upgrade on every whole home air duct cleaning package. Don't you love when you buy your favorite coffee or soda and you get a free size upgrade? Nothing better than getting a large but paying for a medium. That's exactly what Zero Res is doing with their whole home air duct cleaning packages. Pay less for more fresh. Go online at ZeroResSTL.com. Ask for the Dave Glover special. Hey guys, Glover here with my good friend John Moriarty. John and I have been friends and business partners for years now. He is the principal at E3 Consultant Group, and he is back in the DGS fold. So John, introduce yourself to the listeners.
I am so happy to be back and also happy to talk about our firm, E3. We have over 70 advisors, Dave, now in multiple cities, working with our clients on the wealth, tax, insurance, asset protection, business consulting side. One of my biggest passions right now is working with business owners and trying to help them reduce their tax liability, improve their cash flow for future generations.
I've known John for years and years and years now. John is a good guy, very smart, excellent pitcher in baseball. That means a lot to me. You have
those days are long gone.
You have a new book out.
We do have a new book out. It's called The Entrepreneur Playbook, written for business owners that have an entrepreneurial mindset. And the book should be dropping on Amazon probably in the next 30 days. And we've got white papers that are supporting it. A lot of that information is going to be on our website at e3wealth.com. But the key thing to me, Dave, is we try to keep creating educational tools for business owners, individuals, families, so that they can protect the purpose of their money.
So whether you are interested in classic personal retirement, business growth, or just an overall tax strategy, reach out to my friend John at e3wealth.com.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
This is 104.1 FM. Here's what's happening. 4 U.S. service members have been killed in action during U.S. military strikes on Iran. Global oil prices have jumped roughly 9% as U.S. and Israeli attacks on Iran and retaliatory strikes against Israel and U.S. military installations around the Gulf ripple through the global energy supply chain. And the Special School District of St. Louis County faces its first public meeting tonight since the feds found the district violated the Americans with Disabilities Act. We're going to get to traffic and weather in just a few minutes. Let's give you the latest, though, on that briefing that we had earlier this morning from Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. We aired portions of that, of course, talking about what's happening in Iran. He said Iran's nuclear program put the U.S. at risk to justify the U.S. military actions that to date have claimed the lives of 4 U.S. service members.
This is not a so-called regime change war. But the regime sure did change, and the world is better off for it.
Hegseth says the start of U.S. military activity against Iran was part of a widening war in the Middle East.
Today, in their desperation, the enemy is unmasked as Iranian missiles and drones rain down indiscriminately on the hotels, airports, apartments, and other civilian targets of their neighbors. Cowardly terrorist tactics from a regime that for decades has trafficked in cowardly terrorist tactics, lies, death, and destruction to this day.
And Hegseth said as he was ending his remarks about U.S. service members killed.
A grateful nation honors the 4 Americans we have lost thus far and those injured. The absolute best of America.
He did add that this war against Iran is not a forever war.
No stupid rules of engagement, no nation-building quagmire, no democracy-building exercise, no politically correct wars.
And again, the war in the Middle East is widening. Tehran and its allies did hit back against Israel, neighboring Gulf states, and targets critical to the world's production of oil and natural gas. The intensity of the attacks have stepped up. Lack of any apparent exit plan indicated the conflict would not end anytime soon, and it's already having far-reaching consequences on other locations in the Middle East, like Dubai. They've seen incoming fire. Hundreds of thousands of airline passengers are stranded across the globe. Oil prices have shot up today, and U.S. allies have pledged to stop Iranian missiles and drones. Stay with KMOX. We will bring you the latest throughout the day. Let's get you the latest on the roads now. That's easier to deal with. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, and good news for Highway 64 drivers, Megan. They just cleared the crash before Lindbergh. This traffic reports a service of the Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm. Now, we still have slow traffic. Clayton Warson all the way to McKnight or to 170, really. It's jamming just west of 170 most of the way to Lindbergh because they just cleared it like 2-3 minutes ago on westbound 64. Eastbound 64, east of Ballas through Lindbergh, still slow. 170 into Big Bend. In fact, it's jammed in that area to Big Bend. There's a stall at the exit to Big Bend, partially blocking. It's blocking one of the lanes on the ramp. South 170 is backed up at Brentwood. Northbound 270, Big Bend up to Ladue. That's still slow. Downtown, eastbound 44 getting on to westbound 70 out toward Branch Street. There's still some heavy traffic as well. I'm Roger Brand at the Overhead Door Company St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sandberg Phoenix serves your business in litigation, intellectual property, and products liability. We're more than a law firm. We're committed to your success. Learn more at sandbergphoenix.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
And checking that forecast for today, cloudy and chilly, a high of 46 degrees. Overcast tonight, not quite as cold. Get a bit of rain late with an overnight low of 40. And then tomorrow and Wednesday, cloudy and warmer, but we may see some occasional rain and a thunderstorm. Expect a high both days around 62. Then by Thursday, cloudy, warm. Showers and thunderstorms continue. Expect a high near 70. We do have cloudy skies this morning. 36 degrees in Florissant, 35 in St. Peters, and 35 degrees downtown at the Arch. This is Total Information AM on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. Nearly 70% of U.S. adults say one tech glitch derails their lives. That's the finding of a study from CNET. Does that mean we rely on technology a little too much? Let's talk with CNET Consumer Insights editor, Daisha Milden. Daisha, thanks so much for joining me this morning.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
I totally know this feeling. The internet goes down at our house and our whole family panics. So What types of tech failures did people say make them feel like they've lost control?
When we think about just a single tech glitch, any glitch, like what that could mean is thinking about an app crashing, going back to about a month ago, thinking about Verizon's network outage, right? Like those are things that can really derail just your day to day, thinking about how much you rely on our technology to send emails, pay bills, even connect to our security systems, you name it. It can really become a huge inconvenience when we think about our days, but also just catching up after that's been resolved. It takes a lot out of us to figure out what now when tech goes down.
When tech does run smoothly, how did people say that makes them feel?
Oh, really, really good. When we think about the feelings of that, 58% feel productive, whereas 46% feel in control, followed by about 45% feeling happy. Seeing that we rely on tech so much, that is pretty accurate from what I would think of just how we feel about in our day to day and what tasks we rely on technology for.
I know you spoke with some experts about, kind of interpreting these numbers. What do they say about why it makes us feel so helpless? For example, when email doesn't load right or our phone turns into a brick.
It really starts to be based on our experts at CNET. What we found is that it can really just start to derail our lives. But when we think about just that overall feeling, it shows that we rely on tech way too much. But what experts have also found is that that's what tech companies want from us. They want us to use the products. They want us to scroll. They want us to see the ads. So it's not quite anyone's fault. But what that does look like on the other end for the consumer is that when we have that feeling of in control from using technology and it running smoothly, losing that by there being a tech glitch or us coming across something on social media that doesn't feel good, that reliance that feels really good at first can quickly turn our emotions into frustrated if technology isn't running smoothly, or even thinking about social media where things don't feel as good if you come across an ad or a reel that doesn't really spark the best emotion, or makes you anxious or even depressed. So technology can come across a host of emotions from the apps that we use to even how we're using it. And that control feeling can really seem like it is a false sense of control because, after all, a lot of the stuff we think that we're controlling, we really can't.
I've done a number of stories recently on people unplugging from their devices and their apps. In your survey, how did people report that made them feel when they did try to step back from some of their tech dependence?
Over half, so about 56%, say that their mood improved when disconnecting from tech. Whereas on the other hand, 44% feel in control and powerful when they are constantly connected. And experts do say that that makes sense when we start thinking about our journey when it comes to social media and technology, and what that looks like. The thing is that, however, the more time that you spend online, that can become a very dangerous cycle. You may notice that your mood is shifting. You may notice that over time you're not as productive or present. So people who have taken that time to disconnect, it almost feels like a journey where they know what that feeling is like. So it starts to feel good. It feels different, but it feels like they can maybe do a little bit more, be a little bit more productive. They may notice that their mood shifts. So it's kind of interesting that it's close to half and half when we think about how people feel on technology, and what disconnection really feels like. So definitely something that we're going to be keeping a close eye on, especially as we start thinking about more devices coming out later this year.
Do you have any tips for ways that maybe we can reduce the time we spend with tech, maybe to have that better feeling about ourselves?
Absolutely. Before I get into that, I will say that all of these tips do come with a level of balance in doing what is right for you. So I've tried some of these myself, whereas some of them work and I feel really good about them, but something might be different for my husband. With that being said, One of the apps that I personally love and my husband loves as well is Opal. And that's an app that helps reduce screen time because you'll just pick the apps and websites that are counterproductive. And then Opal will essentially lock you out of those apps and websites for designated hours. You can request a break if you need to. And it'll give you a break from like the different notifications and all of that stuff. And while reminding you, hey, let's use this time for something else. Let's be productive, really minimizing that screen time. There's another option that I find really interesting called Brick. And that is a magnet that essentially locks you out of the apps that you choose. So once you're ready, you'll tap that brick or magnet with your phone, which will lock you out of those apps for an allotted amount of time. And when you're ready, you'll go back and you tap that brick again. But there are some other ways too. 20-20-20 rule, one of my favorite. Once you've been staring or looking at a screen for 20 minutes, take 20 seconds, stare at something that is 20 feet away. And you can then begin to expand that time and maybe even set a physical alarm clock that allows for you to actually get up and go turn it off. So you're not tempted to just press a button and then continue scrolling. And last but not least, just thinking about the other settings that your phone has. I personally love app limits for the iPhone. And I know that Android has some other options as well, but seeing what options are available on your phone that can really help you to disconnect and cut down that screen time. So I know that's a lot. But it's really a test of trial and error to see what really works for you and what you can stick with in the long haul.
Daisha, thank you so much for the insights. Appreciate it.
Of course.
That is CNET's Daisha Milden joining us this morning here on KMOX.
I'm Kevin Wheeler. This is KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
This is how it's done. This is how we've always done it. If that answer doesn't work for you and you're trying to sell your house, call Gloria Liu of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, because Gloria has so many ways to sell your home. Some agents just say, oh, yeah, no, don't worry, we'll sell it. They put a sign in the yard, they put out some emails, and then that's it. With Gloria Liu, she guarantees that she will sell your home. And how does she know that she'll sell your home? Well, because she and her team don't sell just a couple homes a year or a couple dozen homes. They sell hundreds of homes a year because Gloria has the buyers and she has so many different ways to sell your home. So if you're looking at all the open houses on a weekend and thinking, I don't really want to do it that way, you don't have to. Talk to Gloria about getting a cash offer. She can get you multiple cash offers that you can choose from. She can do all the legwork, say if you have to move out of state. I mean, she really does have options. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date, but she'll sell it faster and for more than the average agent. And again, she'll guarantee in writing that she'll sell your home. Just give her a call and ask her all your questions at 314-325-6888 or online at gloriahasthebuyers.com.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
Every spring brings promises, and every spring delivers surprises. This year, the Cardinals are writing a new story, and there'll be plenty of surprises. Matt Pauley is in Jupiter with inside access to Camp Cardinals.
Presented by St. Louis Composting. Composting, growing gardens and making memories. And Happy Roof. We always create happy endings.
From breakout performances to roster revelations, get reports throughout the day on the voice of the Cardinals. KMOX.
Welcome back to Total Information AM. I'm Megan Lynch. If you are buying marijuana in Missouri, what you think you're getting may not be what's actually in the bag. Our Michael Calhoun spoke with Amy Moore, the state's director of cannabis regulation, about a new program aimed at steering consumers away from unlicensed shops and toward dispensaries where the product is tested and verified.
So is this something that's above and beyond being just a registered adult use recreational cannabis dispensary, or is this a way to identify whether it is a legitimate adult use dispensary?
It's the second one, exactly as you said. So this is to assist consumers with identifying which stores are legitimate licensed dispensaries. We've gotten a lot of communication from the public that there is some confusion out there about, how to know if the business that they're looking at is a licensed, regulated entity. And so if any individuals are interested in knowing the difference, then this initiative should help with making that a little more clear.
What is the biggest that you're seeing on the side of the unlicensed or unverified dispensaries? Is it actual marijuana that's gone through inversion and just is not its black market, or is it this kind of hemp that's been chemically altered to mimic the effects of marijuana? That's been a big controversy. I guess, which are you seeing more of?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's really outside of our realm. What we do here at the Department of Health and Senior Services, particularly in my division of cannabis regulation, is we oversee the licensed businesses. We make sure that their product is tested for safety. We help ensure public safety by ensuring that at least our licenses are not participating in any of the unregulated product out there. But the variety of unregulated product out there, that's really in other people's realms to learn more about, take action against if that is appropriate. For us, we focus on, is the product safe in our dispensaries? Is it protected so that it doesn't go, out the back door or in the back door? Are we really only selling that regulated, safe product that was made here in Missouri? We stay in our lane, and that's what we focus on, and that's really why we're starting this initiative. If that's what we're supposed to focus on, we want to make sure that we can get everything, all the communication out there about how to find those dispensaries and what's the value of coming to a dispensary versus another avenue.
Yeah, and taking a look at the, some of the things that the businesses have to comply with under the system to be regulated. Can you dive into some of those to give people some peace of mind if they're wondering, I don't want to get one of these products that's hemp or that's been chemically altered or that's fake otherwise. I want the actual, legitimate product, and, maybe talk a little bit about the seed to sale tracking and some of the other things that give consumers that confidence.
Absolutely. So our licensed dispensaries and all of the facilities that we regulate, from cultivation all the way to that retail store counter, the product is tracked so that we know that what ends up in front of the patient or the consumer is a product that was made from a safely grown, safely processed original cannabis plant. And so some of the things that those plants go through, in addition to tracking and making sure that we're only using those plants, they have safe processes. And then ultimately, and probably one of the biggest benefits of purchasing from a licensed dispensary, is that that product is tested for a whole host of things: contaminants, heavy metals, which unfortunately the cannabis plant just really soaks up. So if you don't invest resources into cleaning the final product of those things, it's very likely your product could have heavy metals in it, pesticides. And then also another big benefit, we're testing for potency. We're testing for the cannabinoids so that you can know exactly how much Delta 9, Delta 8, CBD, all of the things that consumers look for. You can know exactly what's in there. And then we also review and approve packaging so that the packaging is transparent and true. You can be assured that what you're looking at on that packaging is what is inside the packaging.
That is Amy Moore, the state's director of cannabis regulation in Missouri, speaking with our Michael Calhoun. And I did just go on the internet and I checked gas prices for our region through AAA. Right now, what we are seeing is that on average, gas is up 17 cents in Missouri from where it was a week ago. In Illinois, the price at the pump for regular unleaded up an average of 10% across the state from where it was a week ago. Make sure you listen to us tomorrow on Total Information AM. We're going to meet the new Chief Marketing Officer of Explore St. Louis. You may have heard last week some of the figures about attendance to some of our major attractions in St. Louis haven't really risen since the pandemic much. So we're going to talk to her about how we attract visitors to the St. Louis region. Also, I'll be speaking with Dr. Alex Garza with SSM. You may have heard the story last week about how a lot of doctors haven't ever seen measles. So how do they diagnose it? We're going to talk to him about efforts here in the St. Louis area to make sure that medical professionals are on top of it.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Health Trends, sponsored by LensSeek.
There's a link between hearing loss and dementia. Hearing stimulates your brain, and hearing loss can prompt people to withdraw when unable to join in conversations. Experts now recommend that all adults be screened for hearing loss beginning at 50. Addressing hearing loss sooner rather than later allows folks to adapt to hearing aids more easily and begin to lower the risk for social isolation, dementia, and potential complications sooner. I'm Margie Schaefer.
At LendSeek, we know running a business takes heart, hustle, and sometimes a little help. That's why we stand with you with our exclusive AI lending platform, connecting you to